Hello everyone, welcome back to Team Fortress TV. We had the Div 1 playoffs getting underway earlier on today, but we'll be joining up with the upper bracket final. Starting now with me and Dumtum on the mic, and we've got Dr. Underscore behind us. How are you doing, Dumtum? Did you enjoy that game earlier?
Yeah, obviously I was there as well. It was a lot of back and forth. A roller coaster of emotions, quite frankly. Let's see if this game can stack up to those expectations. I have high hopes. Division 1 has been a brilliantly close division this season. I think the split into smaller divs up top, up to like the middies, has helped quite a bit make a lot of these games really, really entertaining. So I'm very much looking forward to this, especially since it's a rematch from the regular season and was very close then. A tight game before. Let's hope for some of that.
Yeah, it's funny you say like it's been there's no sort of clear runaway teams in this division. I know obviously Varmkorv, Boogie are top of the division. They're coming in as number 1 seeds, but even then they lost some maps. As we say, when these teams met before, they traded maps and drew 3-3. But yeah, it's been a close div and lots of exciting like back and forth action throughout the season. So we've carried on in playoffs so far, given that game earlier. So I guess we can hope it continues even further.
Yeah, like you said, they lost a couple maps in first place still. It wasn't a clean record like we've seen in other divisions, for example. But nonetheless, come in here with only 2 map losses and was forced into 2 golden caps. So close encounters here and there for sure, but been coming out on top. I think I mentioned earlier today as well. I think it was Omga who mentioned to me that he didn't understand how they won losing more maps because they're constantly yelling at each other. But maybe that was the recipe for success for them. Just yell a lot and see what comes of it. On the flip side, trust the process, of course. Many people that we've seen before hop between like the interim of the 1 to Prem many times, sort of the resident Prem playoffs guardians, so to speak. They're just like making sure that anyone who wants to go to Prem actually is good enough a lot of the time as well. Sometimes every other one, they basically make it themselves as well. But, they're like about as good as people can be to still be put in Div 1 as main classes. And still put everyone up to a big fight. Had a really competitive season as well. Obviously got 2nd seed, otherwise they wouldn't be up here as well. A bit of a weird one for them. They actually lost just last week as well, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, in the week 7 game. So it wasn't actually a clean sweep into playoffs either. But yeah, they tied for first place. They somehow lost to last, but that game got retroactively defaulted due to unforeseen circumstances, so that embarrassing result didn't matter in the end. It helped them a little bit. I don't think it would have made a difference. They beat most everyone else in the end, except Alien Workshop, who are still in it as well. So even if they were to drop back down to losers, there's still a heavy competition waiting for them that has beaten them on maps before. Like I said, close all around, but you need to win now. I mean, I guess you still have the second life in the losers bracket, but if you really don't want to go that route, just take the clean win, go to Grands with map pick advantage that the winner gets, and have the easy route.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to go into that losers final if you can help it. Obviously, you know what happened with Mandem in Prem just last week. It's a dangerous game to go into, and anything can happen on the day. And both these teams wanting to sort of clean themselves through here and just go the easy way, go straight into it with that pick advantage. Speaking of picks, we've these 2 teams obviously met before in this season and traded maps, so I guess that sort of plays into their picks so far. I know Bagel was coming up, which Trust the Process won earlier in the season, so I imagine that's probably their pick. So that would lead me to believe that this is the pick of Varmkorv. So
it was still a really close Bagel, so that explains also why they wouldn't have banned it. 3-2 scoreline in the end was a very close competitive game all around. Just kind of, it was, if I remember correctly, a really good start by Trust the Process, and then suddenly for 2 rounds, Varmkorv Boogie really brought it back, and they just choked on the line in the last round. Like Varmkorv Boogie just barely couldn't do it in the end, despite the other team slowing down a little bit by the end as well. Close encounter there. They're still having good hope that it all will work out in the end. I think the other Bagel official went pretty well otherwise, so small choke, I guess, in their minds. Nothing to worry about, maybe? We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's always interesting to see, like, obviously, because it is only 1 map that you're playing against someone right earlier in the season, unlike a Bagel and things. Like, how much stock do you put into that when playoffs roll around? Do you think, does that give you much confidence? I guess a 3-2 doesn't inspire like a great deal of confidence. Obviously, it's a close one. They do get over the line in the end, but it's either I believe it's Varmkorv have decided to pick Sunshine as their map. See that's one that plays to their strengths. Metalworks was the other one that they played previously in the season, and maybe that wasn't available by the time it was their pick.
Okay, in very related news, I just looked at the in-game chat and Impo is threatening them that AZN is playing on his computer right now. So if that's true, then we already know who's winning this one. The mental warfare is coming out early today. We'll see if it's gonna matter by the end. Worth noting as well, Varmkorv Boogie not showing up with all 6 of their mains. I guess they haven't played more than half the games with their main roster necessarily. Tendon has been missing all around the season every once in a while. However, again, I don't know if the in-game chat is to trust, but apparently he literally broke his neck. If that's true, then yikes. But he didn't die, which with breaking your neck sounds like an accomplishment. So
yeah, that's a win, I guess, in the comparative sense.
could
Obviously, it's not really
worse,
a win, but
I'm sure that once he's better, he wants to, come back home, log in on his computer, and see his boys carry his ass, and make it work for him. If he's not here, it would be maybe not the best news, I guess, but all things considered, still good news on top of other things happening in his life. So let's see if they can make it happen. Trust the process, no easy foe. Like we said, tied each other in the regular season. Someone's got to win tonight to make it to Grand Finals. Map 1, Sunshine. We talked about Bagel a lot. Sunshine, they did not play. 5CP map still has been played. That one did go to Varmkorv Boogie, even if it wasn't this at all. We'll see how it looks like on the 5CP map.
yeah, it's a very quick start here from Silver, taking that high ground early. A little bit faster here at the start. Also pressure being pressed by Crust the Process. Silver's all the way in deep, taking down Impo as well, and pressure coming all the way in from the red side here, spamming all the way into Valley even. Jordy not quite able to get the killing blow here into Hugie. As a bomb comes in, but Jordy comes in late.
He misses the rockets, and in classic soldier fashion, we're refusing to reload. If the melee swing doesn't do it, nothing will, and he just has to watch the medic run away from him. Painful stuff there at the end of the mid-fight. But they're still trying. They don't have numbers really. They don't have soldiers, and that difference is being felt right away. Ox, I guess Saab, he's rostered actually, will get the final blow there. Get them mid-fight. Surprised they went back in, honestly. Without soldiers, that's kind of rough. You have no one really leading the charge nearly as much as usual. And they might eat the consequences for this later from Earl. This means they have an entry pick right now. Happily trade a soldier for that one. Try to get in. He eats a pipe as well. Terrifying, but it's going well.
Yeah, they get forced as well. Not ideal whatsoever. The Trust the Process here is they're getting forced out already. And Uber charge coming in after the red Uber fades. Aaron Trier coming in, getting that kill onto Dowie. And Seconds getting captured. There's only the 2 scouts alive. This is dire straits here for the defenders.
It's looking a bit rough without any of the combo really still sticking together. I mean, you can hope to go in aggressively and just kill them before it's too late, but that can backfire very quickly. While they're already capping second, you will not beat them out to that one, so they're on the way to last most likely. Spawns are coming up now. Maybe that will slow them down a little bit here, but even if it does, the advantage is just heavily against them. Impo is peeking, tries to get the gun on quick. I guess if that thing goes down, you have good chances. Will backfire a little bit, but not enough to greatly matter. They're waiting for the Uber, so they can also afford to wait for the demo spawn. And I mean, with no Uber and one down themselves, Trust the Process isn't likely going anywhere. Staying on the last soldier, setting up a defense. They know what's coming up. You've got to be prepared.
Yeah, and the advantage is actually only widening with time. There's obviously no scouts on the red side, so it's pickaxe building for now, which is doing a decent job. It's going to be roughly a 30% add by the time the peak comes in, and that Uber charge is flying in already. The sniper was enough of a threat to force the Uber charge off early, and the Uber charge has come across, got a couple of kills here, but look at the health. They've really not managed to keep their players healthy as they come in. Silver's even taking down the demo as well, and it's only Zio and the 2 scouts alive. One of them on point, trying to do work, but it's going to be caught in. Zio, oh, never mind. The cap comes in. Aaron Trier comes in, uses the distraction of the medic, and sneaks the cap in from what was otherwise a completely botched push.
Yeah, brilliant stuff by Aaron Trier. I mean, between this and Highlander, he's been having one hell of a year so far as well, and maybe it's the way to Prem and 6s finally as well. He's been doing a good job. Gets the round on the board. Pretty quick round 2. Trust the Process back to mid. Needs to put a bit of mid-fight together here this time around as well. Fast rollouts. No one's going deep just yet. Just looking for anything they can make happen. Nice soldier. It sounds good in theory, but they're going really aggressive onto enemy side right away on blue as well. Trying to get the damage in early. Bombs across. Ox comes in deep. Finds everyone bunched up. That moment alone, that's not enough to kill. Where's the follow-up? Impo's trying. They're playing hide and seek down. Alex is on the low ground. Can't escape anyway. And it looks like all of the control goes to Varmkorv Boogie in theory. In practice, with the space they have, it looks good, but there's still people in.
Yeah, the damage is just about enough, right? We saw so many low HPs there for Trust the Process as they were coming back, but yeah, in the end, frags come through, they're forced back, and with 3 down, I guess spawners coming in only just. Yuji's going to try and fight this in, but Uber's exchanged here in choke. So, might be the call to retreat here and back out. Trying to body block. Yuji's trying to block the scout in here in choke. Not quite going to manage it as nobody dies in the exchange. He'll be reset and slow the game down a little bit.
Yeah, turns this at least into a stalemate for whatever that's worth right now. Better than what happened the last few minutes anyway. Not a good start for Trust the Process. I gotta trust a little bit harder to bring this one back around. It's only 1-0 down very early in the game, so far too early to talk out the chances, but still always frustrating to now have to be much more pressured on the move than your opponents have to be, especially once you're like losing map control as well. I mean, even just being on second compared to mid is always a bit of a difference with how good the chances are to sack away with. And pressure's on you. I guess early in the game it might still help insofar that even if you don't find anything, maybe going back to mid helps. It would be a lot more optimistic though if the mid fights were going better than they have been so far.
Yeah, we'll see what Varmkorv have in store. Currently pressuring with Arentry going all the way deep in behind here.
Is anyone looking
onto
at
the net? No, the distraction was perfect from Valley. The distraction was perfect in Valley and gets Dowie a bit weak, but manages to scurry away to the pack. And it was almost a very successful sack coming in there. It's very well coordinated.
He was having so much time, but couldn't make it count. Just looked at the medic, and that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, counter sack is in. We've got Geordie very, very deep behind here. All the way on to second, in fact. Having a little MGE fight. He's going to win it against Aaron Trier there. Just about stay alive as well.
I love the part where he tried to land on this rocket and just took 4 damage on top of his own rocket damage. Wait, that's just a scout walking in! All just decides, actually, who wants to stalemate anyway? I'm just gonna be pushing the W key and there's nothing you can do about it. And he's completely right. Apparently without entry on the flank, no one's watching that whatsoever. Info called alone as well. Everyone's just out of position on blue. Omega way too far in. Soldier coming in so late. I think they're trying to play off each other, but no one's making anything happen before the rest of the team comes forward. And then it's just dying one by one after another. And it's just completely falling apart for Varmkorv.
Yeah, this is a massive chance there after they did such a good job just sweeping up all those loose kills. And yeah, they're going to get mid, they're going to get second, and they're still going to have a decent advantage coming into last. There's been some heavy building between Zeo and Hugie, so they're going to have to be quick, but they might just be quick enough here. 80% on that Uber charge. Geordie already thinking about coming in, but never mind. They aren't quick capping up second, and now Uber charge is going to stabilise. Impo still not spawning in yet, but pressure's in. No, they don't quite get the kill onto Zeo before the flash comes out. Big force coming in. Dowie goes down as well. And we're into just carnage DM at the moment. Everyone charging. It might still work out, honestly. They're pushing onto the point. There's so much cap time. And they do. They force the players onto the point and equalise those scores in quite a scrappy fashion, but it works out in the end.
Yeah, that's the round right there. I mean, it doesn't matter how ugly it might be in the end, as long as it works. And this sure did. After all is said and done, perfectly fine. Take the round gladly. Now tying it back up. Mid-fight still leaves something to be desired, though. That's gonna be a bit concerning going into this next one.
Yeah, they're again going for this play. They're sending soldiers fairly deep start to try and control this ground, but they've just been counter-aggressed on every time previously. Aaron Trier in, gets big damage. Without demo, Dowie's low as well, and again it's a mid-fight that seems to be falling apart at the seams here. Only 3v3 left, but with heal advantage up on Varmkorv. They're getting pushed all the way back into choke, so I guess the 3 surviving classes here over on Crystal Bros is doing their good work, and they are going to get in and sweep up as they fly through, get the kill onto the medic and the defenders, and it's going to be another scrappy fight, but they're going to get mid off that.
Yeah, maybe that's just what they need. As long as the defenses are a little bit breached, Trust the Process can make a mess of it, and maybe that's where they shine. Just let the DM shine through a little bit here. Take the messy fights all you want, as long as you're winning them. Who cares? Much more importantly than that, get an advantage out of it as well. So next time around, you can probably take this a little bit easier than just a straight up brawl without any advantages going in. This Uber is going to do some heavy lifting going from here. In fact, already by itself, it gets some second point by just a matter of being there alone. They don't want to get back on second with this much of a disadvantage. Let them have that point. Rather take the safer option on last. It's a safer option only so far, though, that you can, put up a gun, maybe get some buffs ready, put yourself far back, and hope to run away from his Uber charge. It's going to come in either way. Yeah,
well, they've got a bit better of a setup this time with the gun, which they didn't have previously, but they're getting in early. A bit of cap time coming through, but Geordie going to fall early. As yeah, they're going to actually stack it up, just deny. Great work there by the two scouts. Afternoon flanking around, getting onto that cap when no one was looking and sneaking it through. And yeah, 2-1 this game, sort of, despite these mid-fights, is really turning on its head.
Yeah, finally, narrative shifting a little bit here, looking good on last. Kind of like you said, Captain coming in clutch, while the rest of the team just made sure no one gets on point while, you know, invincible people are mercilessly running at them. What are you going to do? Fight them and die? Probably not. You run away from point, hope for the best, but the Captain was there to make it all work in the end. Back to mid it is now. Bombs already coming in deep. Jordy's looking for the big kill on the medic. No air shot inside, unfortunately. Has to just run out for the time being. Maybe he can waste some people's time, turn some heads, get his team in position anyway, despite not succeeding just yet. And that's exactly what's happening. They're just lurking to find the right play. And there you go. The second the call comes through by Saves to go in deep, they're getting everything at once.
Yeah, Aaron doesn't quite read the exact positioning of Dowie there at the end of that fight. Coming in for the late bomb. Could have gone for the hero play. Just make it work out. And again, we've had, I guess this is more dominant than the previous mid-fights, but it's in really, really quick succession. There's a big bit of pressure coming in and another opportunity, an uber advantage last push. We've seen how good these have been so far, so I guess this is maybe odds on for a third round here, which was the process.
That would be incredibly fast, 3 rounds in a row as well. Huge statement after losing the first one too, just bring this back immediately. Here we go, push comes in, Sniper can't do much about it. Always the hope that maybe the snipe comes through at the end, that gets someone off beam going forward. Not happening though. Oh, what's also not happening is a lot of kills with invincibility and certainly no cap time like before. Everyone's just able to run away and hide, and positions being played much worse this time by Trust the Process. Heavy out of spawn now makes the rest of this really difficult, but they're still getting kills late at least. The early stuff of this might not have been looking too promising, but took good enough position that they can still take some fights afterwards. Look good in the end, but there's still this 450 tank in the back. They have to muscle past, and as long as this takes, they don't have that time. The Uber just come out. The force might still be a silver lining, because now he runs away with so much advantage actually.
Yeah, it's 50% advantage there, and Zero has to use their keep control of the point and keep that heavy alive. But yeah, there's such a big advantage now for Dowie over on the Trust Process side, and yeah, it's been the first fumble we've seen on these notoriously difficult Sunshine last pushes. There's the Process. Had a couple of good ones coming up, so now they're going to have another go here with this 50% advantage coming in. But they've lost second though, so that's another one in the bag for Varmkorv. Going to slow things down slightly. Going to force him to cap up, and Zio again now 80% as the push seems to be on its way. Jordy's in already, and the Uber charge used in. Goes for a big air shot, doesn't quite manage to land it. But Price coming through on both of those blue soldiers. Zio's 90%. Zio has by the end of the fight. They maybe weren't quick enough coming in with that Uber charge, and they're paying the price for it here. It's counter aggression possibly on the cards here of Varmkorv as they survive another scare.
Holding on for dear life, but they're not getting out of last anytime soon, it looks like. This time around, it's not as big an advantage to Dowie. Obviously used first, so he's gonna have the next Uber first as well, but that only matters if the margin is good enough, and they're trying to improve that gap. Only was a little bit here with the bombs, but no one's really sticking the landing. Sylphs, Jordy both going down. That's really all they had, and looks like Varmkorv Boogie is taking the bait. There's 2 soldiers down. We're gonna see if we can get a last Sunshine Lasses within the ramps of more push outable, I suppose, especially with just the 2 soldier picks. You're not gonna get like high bombed instantly and as well, and looks like they account for everyone. Sort of scouting back with the Demo Man. That's all you have to worry about. Get the space covered pretty quick. Second point turns blue pretty nicely. Trust Process just hoped the double sack wasn't gonna get punished, but Varmkorv Boogie happily took that chance. Gets at least a push out going. Not an explosive fight by any means. Everyone's getting away pretty much just unscathed for the time being, but as far as Varmkorv Boogie is concerned, they're probably very happy to avoid any complications while still having to worry about the threat of the backup. On top of everything, you'd rather take the fight if it happens on the second point, I would imagine.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get into this sort of secure position, and there's obviously a stalemate. We've got Chris Brooks in the better position holding that midpoint, but it's definitely a far more stable position than what you can get otherwise. But Jordy going to come and talk to you. Maybe something as sacks come in. Silver's not quite able to get onto Yumpo there, going in for that bomb onto the Demo Man, and actually it's a pick in the advantage of Varmkorv Boogie here. And both soldiers down again. Are they going to try and walk on this? It looks like they're getting prepared for something here in show, because they walked two Hugies all the way in. And they are walking here, and it's big damage here onto both medics. Force coming out onto Dowie. Going to be a big win as the counterpop comes in. Such a better Uber coming across here for Varmkorv. They've got high ground to deal with though, and they're actually not going to get too much done with it. Zeo goes down and they really fall to the damage being splashed in from these soldiers just sat on height. They get onto Dowie late, but that's a big win again for Trust the Process.
Brilliant showcase. Both maps, like you said, went really early before the U.S. came out, and just you're still going to be weak after the U.S. Instantly, we see both teams just try to punish that right away. The bombs are coming across, and they're still coming as well. Aaron here gets one late, back into the fight, immediately finds one kill, but finds himself kind of vaguely surrounded. There we go. Yeah, it was a scout on one side. The soldier, I don't think he even was aware of, wanted to fall back right into Jordy's loving arms, gets one more kill. That is 2 down, not for very long. What the Demo Man? Without Alex, it might still be a bit of a problem. Maybe that's not going to proceed nearly as quickly as they would like on Trust the Process. But taking the chances anyway. Big air pipe there, just a nice bomb number 1, but you need to worry about bomb number 2 as well. Saves in the backlines, coming in, trying to sneak through anyway, but looks like Boogie has everything under control. Scouts shooting down any aerial threat, and now it's time to go on the return, and there we go. Aaron finds it right away.
That was a really well-timed bomb coming in there, just catching that med on the retreat, and we'll see. Is he going to be safe? Yeah, they back out. Yeah, really well-timed bomb coming in from Amantry there. Saw the combo being chased out through the valley, lands it with perfect precision, straight on the medic's head. Takes him down, and that's now a big advantage for the blue medic of Zeo and Varmkorv. Going to have their first real chance at a threat here of a round in quite a long time. This is the first minute or so of this game. But Jordan in the forward spawn, potentially here to spoil the party. With a couple of rockets, and Omlu going down isn't exactly ideal for Varmkorv, but now he's only just coming up with crits. Is obviously desperation play coming in, but it's not ideal whatsoever.
They're a big fan of the dishead crits, but it's only going to matter if they can hold this one.
There's so much longer to build as well, right? Uber's already in its 30% on this crit, so not a factor at all in this fight yet. Never mind taken down regardless. Demo down as well. The push coming in strong so far. But Yumko down and low HP using a lot of other players. Big rocket coming in from Jordy there onto that right-hand side. Splashing down a lot of players, and that might just be enough to hold it. Bit of a grouping together there of low HP players able to get splashed down by these explosives. And yes, silver lining here for Varmkorv is that Zeo stayed alive. There is an advantage. Well, I said there's an advantage, it's crits again, so the crits is going to come up at a similar time to this Uber, but they're going to maybe have another go at this.
Yeah, that's the ups and downs. They didn't hide back and spawn, and it did cost them damage, but they were far enough forward that they could just hunt down everyone that was also going deep for them just as the invincibility ended as well. Has it up, has it down. They killed enough to defend point, but they're still on dishead either way. As mentioned before, they love the dishead crits. I've seen it all season from them in the Div 1 games. Always on the Lego crits, see if they can make something happen with it, but again, first of all, you need to survive this, and if the gun needs a lot of that Uber charge, it might be good news for them. It looks like it's wasting quite a bit of time. Omka flying into the hole there somewhere in the back, but the crit squeak is going to be much more important right now. Orc hiding behind the is running away. Are they playing off this? They know he's there. Yeah, there we go. Sills just goes from respawn, takes him down right away. No chance to make that happen. But at least they realized in time that there's going to be something up at the end, and making sure Xeo gets out alive. But again, it's this awkward moment now. They have Uber ad, but it will be crit, so how much does that matter?
Yeah, we'll have to see. They're going to have a bit here, but yeah, with the pick advantage, they aren't even able to get onto second here. We saw there was a moment there. I think they were up 2 or 3 picks, but again, not quite able to get it. We saw the combo just sat on concrete, waiting, and yeah, not able to push out. We've got Dawion crits coming up soon. Zeo on the Uber charge coming up soon as well, and yeah, they're consenting themselves back to last again. Just the process, just gonna have to sit it out here and wait for the oncoming push.
Well, it's not a boring last stalemate anyway. It's not really even a stalemate either. We've just been on last for a few minutes and make the next push into last right away. Alex is really caught as well. He goes down with the gun, opens a point a little bit. Pyro heavy out of spawn. We're just playing Prolander today, and with the crit squeak on top of things, you might have forgotten what the normal 6v6 meta looks like, but that's certainly on last. That might just be enough to hold it, and suddenly all is looking up in the world. That mowed down just enough people at the end to get themselves a lot of space on second.
Yeah, it's so powerful, isn't it?
Oh no!
Oh, someone's going to take him down. Not ideal, but they're still going to push out regardless. And they are going to have crits add, but it might not matter again, because it looks like Varmkorv just going to walk it straight back in. They know they're a player advantage. They know it's a completely dry fight, so Yeah, able to just walk in again, and they're going to just get a repeat of the previous fight once more here, unless there's some some extravagant push out coming in from Trust the Process where they decide to go with this crit side in lobby, which
Okay, if you're Varmkorv Boogie now, do you expect them to have switched off Medigun when they had the chance before pushing Elo last? Because there was a moment where A, they could have just gone where the Met died, picked it up, wouldn't have been advantage but faster than going back to spawn, or just go back to spawn and switch normally, and make sure that before the medic on the other side spawns, you at least have like 5% ad, not this ad at least. Oh, they're playing into this like it's advantage, or like they expect it to be crit squeak anyway. Just fully taking the fight with the Uber happily taking point time and people blocking is a lot harder when they're not invincible.
Yeah,
it looks like the crit squeak finally betrays them.
Yeah, the Heavy wasn't quite able to deny the point caps there. We saw so much point focus coming in early on in that Uber charge. Both scouts and our soldiers just diving onto it and getting that cap time early. And yeah, the Heavy, those fat little legs, not quite fast enough to run the Heavy onto point. As we equalise, 10 minutes left. It's 2-2. Varmkorv back equal in this game as we go to mid-fight number 5. We've got a bit of a soldier exchange here coming in up top. Both soldiers coming up very, very weak, both surviving though. As counter-aggression coming through now. Big pressure coming in here into the Red Valley as they're forced all the way out here. Both soldiers down, and that's the call to the retreat here for Trust the Process.
Oh, they want more on the blue side though, they're not done yet. We want to get everything we can, and it's Dowie that they're getting. That sounds really good, but the damage isn't stopping just yet. More and more people die. It looks like Trust the Process actually gets the last few kills of the whole situation, and that's late spawns now on Varmkorv Boogie, so even with Dowie only now spawning up as well, do you really want to stay at the midpoint? Looks like we might have to do the longest call of giving up mid, so we have our med up for the repush after already having capped it. But, I mean, at least they have the advantage now. They can probably manage a pretty decent push from here anyway, even if it has to first go for mid before it goes anywhere else. It's not a disaster by any means, even if we probably wanted to just have this point already.
Yeah, they were actually milliseconds away from denying forward spawners there. It was so close. We were sort of holding their breath as it came through, but in the end they get the 3 forwards, and that means they're able to push into mid so much faster. Bombs coming in. Geordie manages to get the force out, and they've got a backcap threat coming on as well. He's going to turn a little bit of attention. Maybe slow down this push slightly, but they're going to be so careful here. Now he's still nowhere near having an Uber charge up, and LX taken low as well, and they're going to have to retreat out. Just 2 scouts and the medic left alive. They might be giving up more than mid at this rate.
It's remaining a really close game. 2-2 into the last third of the match, and Uber charge up for Dowie, even with people down, might still make them have a chance to fight back. And they want that Uber force immediately as well. Look at that, everyone's just running in full confidence. Will get people caught. You have to anticipate that not everyone can get out alive, but 3 is still a lot of people dying for this.
Especially when there's so much space you have to give up as well, right? If they lose 3, they have to make sure that it's worth it and they keep Zeo alive. And Zeo's had to run all the way back to second, so they're going to give up mid and 3 players for that force, but they are going to get the advantage off the back of it. That's as long as they can keep their combo safe now, as there's aggression coming in. Zeo doesn't quite have, and they might be giving up a second point for this as well. Trust the Process walking in very fast. Zeo has now, so at any moment we could have a push coming in, and on that Q, charge, the Uber charge coming across all the way onto the concrete, sprinting through up from the dungeon, getting a kill into the Demo Man, but that seems like just about it. They're going to get second as well, but they're facing a bit of a rough scenario now, a big disad. No forward spawn denial, and counter push could come at any moment.
Errantry dying so quick is really unfortunate as well. He perfectly was positioned behind in theory, but they were looking at him being weak, still hasn't taken a pack yet, flanking, and just didn't stand a chance. Coupled with the Uber disadvantage, as you mentioned, and suddenly we're in a really bad position. Speaking of which, Jordy as well, and actually everyone's walking into the most obvious trap on the point. Impulse just waiting for a blind dead as well, I'm pretty sure. Just sees the cap flash up on his HUD and instantly kills half the team. Luckily, Dowie wasn't the one stepping on point. Matt getting out of this one alive, but I don't know how much that really matters. They're not going to be happy about it either way. At least it stems to bleeding from here on out. They also get forward spawned at least, so mid lost right away. Bit of an unfortunate one.
Yeah, that's a disaster, right? Because they were at the point where they were going to cap mid, and then they'd still have a little bit of ad if they wanted to go for last. And off the back of just those couple of kills coming through on point, they're now sat in a stalemate on their own second. But that's just what the fine margins can do, right? Just a couple of kills go one way, and the script flips completely. There's now, but slowing down completely now. We're gonna be sat here in this second stalemate. We haven't really sat in many of these for too long at all this game, to be quite honest. We've had lots of aggression, mostly to the Valley. That looks like it what might be coming through this time as well. Yimpo getting towards the pack, getting ready to come in possibly.
Now early damage, trying to just take the fight in Flowers itself, not let them get any space with this one, but it's a bit awkward of a trade for now. Entry off the beam, just stuck on his lonesome, can't get anything else, and just 2 down. Might actually work out. Dory pretty weak, takes the pack, should be fine. At least for the time being, and with this many kills on their favor already, Trusted Process would be a mistake not to make anything more happen with this one. Has to go for an exchange, but look at that, actually getting the force out of their opponent's first solo scout over each. No one wants to flash, no one wants this Uber to be any worse than it needs to be as well, but that just means Varmkorv Boogie knows exactly they're still having theirs and first gets out of this in time to not get punished for it maybe. But in the end, Trust Process gets everything they wanted, just a slightly better Uber, and that's all you need to see.
Yeah, they're going to camp up mid here, but yeah, Varmkorv cut the losses, exchange off those Ubers and get themselves out, back to their own second, back to the safety, get that Demo Man spawner in, that's all important, get the rest of the players up, equalise the Ubers, and just sit it down. We've got 5 minutes left, and still nothing between these two teams. We're sort of flip-flopping. I guess it could go either way at this point. We've not had a round in quite some time.
Very good map 1 anyway so far. I mean, I hope for a close game we're getting exactly that. I think the 5CP map was a little less close than this last time I've seen them play, so nice change of narrative there already in that regard, but they're not done yet. Ox goes down pretty early, just trying to bust open the flank a little bit. Rawley can't find the flank in the meantime, and in all of that, Errantry just decides offense is the best defense. They're taking space, not gonna happen on my watch. Bomb tried on the medic, and now all of Trust Process is just unleashed. There's no medic holding them back, it's just 5 angry dogs running at them and trying their goddamn hardest, not getting quite what they want. Clear is so weak though, they're getting the cap out of this surprisingly, and with the medic weak as well, they don't want to risk taking any more damage. Fall back for quite a while, but it looks like eventually the lack of heals will catch up with them and they just cannot keep up the fight until the mat arrives again, and now things change a little bit once more. Right now you suddenly have a lot of things to lose by just getting your mat involved in this one, and there's Seaver coming out. Actually just pop on ALX being inside, demo down early, but Matt was so far back, there's no chance they can up with that guy.
Yeah, now they're able to reset, and they have a possibility for a little bit of a flip-flop here. It depends how much Varmkorv Boogie value this demo pick, how much they want to go in, and with actually losing their own demo, maybe not advisable to step any further. Ox going down as well, not ideal at all in this spam war that ensued in the choke. And yeah, advantage up for Dowie now, and might not even be needing to use it for a long time, as Varmkorv backing all the way out to second. As we've got 90% on that Uber, there's time coming out hugely in the forward spawn on a heavy. We know it's a map where this and Metalworks, the two where you can really make use of it heavy in these second forward spawns. Do a little bit of damage, maybe catch someone off guard and see if he gets the timing right.
Yeah, and if the combo just walks past you, that's just the best case scenario. Or an unsuspecting scout, I suppose, will do as well. What's he gonna do? Turn a corner? Not in this open space there.
Oh, he gets the force!
Oh, hell yeah, that's just all coming together. Just enough damage by Errantry to get that going exactly what they want to see. What everyone's looking at, what should be a little more than a mild nuisance of a heavy behind, but it's just caught their attention at the worst time. Brilliant stuff to get the bomb in at the right time there. You'll love to see it.
Getting the scout and a force is pretty much best case scenario there. But Hughes actually still in forward spawn. Decides in the end, you know, just gonna go back, get back on the regular scout class. And yeah, we've got pressure coming into the lobby now. They really want to get onto Zio here. Really want to equalise out these Ubers. Now he's building hard, but still disad. And Geordie going in. Might be catching onto a couple of soldiers here as well. So soldiers down for Varmkorv as it stands, but going to still be capping up their own second. And yeah, going to have to retreat here. Christopher is going to go back, get those Ubers equalised, and potentially think about the refight here. As actually they're already in straight through choke. Onto the demo, and Info's weak.
Just use so much later once again. It has worked once before, and it might just do everything they need to once again. Take good space over this one, but this time around, Varmkorv Boogie much happy to fight back. They realize they can't fall back anymore. Want to fight back. Everything punished for it right away. At least demonstrates one out, but not for much longer than that. Info taken down right away. Ox behind tries to turn some attention to him, but the scouts make easy work of that one, and suddenly they just left him with really bad numbers. No explosives because left. It's just 2 scouts on beam. There might be a lot those 2 scouts can do, but maybe not well on numbers this set and on low ground. We'll have to give this one up eventually. Slightly better Uber got a decent position for the rest of this fight. Looking good for Trusted Process. Time is running out, however. This game has been just non-stop action, so it's easy to forget that this game will end in just 2 minutes. Someone needs to get around soon.
Yeah, so they're trying to go for a bit of a distraction there. Not able to get much doing, and Earl has gone in and died. potentially going to come up on an off class, but again, there's the time's ticking down, right? There's a time limit on any of these plays, so if you're going to go for a sniper or a spy or something, you can't wait forever to make it work. Now, decides against it, going to come back up just on scout again. Geordie, though, is decided to be the ones that go into spy. And I believe run back to the forward spawn.
Well, unfortunately, there's 2 spies on the server, and when that's the case, they both should know that there's one of another, but only one of them is actually in spawn spy checking, so Geordie's flying blind right now. Omga should have perfect information about that there is a spy here, and you can already see they're turning like completely randomly, which they're trying to use to their advantage, just pop on the guy forward, but don't even get that kill, still catch the spy out as well. This is anything but successful from Trust the Process in pretty much every way. At least we got the exchange out of the equation, so they're not here stuck on this ad for the next 50 seconds, but still somehow have to break a full Sunshine last or with gun up.
Without Uber.
Yeah, just completely on their own volition to make this happen. Impo building desperately on the sword. They don't have scouts exactly anymore, someone's gonna do it.
Yeah, Silvers is in, gonna maybe try and get something in the gun, but yeah, denied instantly as bit of a dry push comes in. Nothing to lose here. It's just the process, flying in with their soldiers and scouts, but just getting completely mulched in these choke points. Minecraft kill coming out from Arentria as just 2 alive now, and looks like golden cap on the cards in this first map.
Looks like it, yeah. Not much one lonely scout can do. Earl will go down. And there is the round right here. We're going into overtime. Someone's got to win, but the next round will decide it all. A very back and forth game. Very good spectating experience, but I think only, much as we've been happy with the quality of the game, I think only one side will be happy in the next couple of minutes here.
Yeah, for sure. I've got to remember, I believe this is the pick of Varmkorv, right? It's a map where he obviously could have, there's plenty in the pool to pick from. This is the one they decided they got the best chance with, and yeah, they traded maps earlier and to go 2-2. Not exactly ideal. And you've got to say that there was even chances. It wasn't as if like maybe one side they butchered a lot of opportunities more than the other, or maybe got a couple of lucky players coming in, or a couple of big clutches coming in. It was just a really well balanced game. The whole side really back and forth, non-stop, and yeah, I think 2-2 and golden cap is probably the fairest outcome it could possibly have.
All right, well, everyone in the server taking a quick breather here, getting themselves a short little break before the overtime starts. I want to make sure they know what they're doing. I mean, the mid-fight started a bit rough for Trust the Process, but got a lot better later down the line, so they got that going for them here. Maybe just warming up throughout the map helps a lot, but this is the one that really matters right now, and for what it's worth, we've only seen like one mid-fight that like was leaning towards the sort of like big rotate around enemy side thing that you see so much these days. Not very common between these two teams at the very least. We'll see if maybe someone throws just a huge curveball, maybe just tries to hard rush over to enemy territory immediately on this final mid-fight. It's always the risk, right? How much do you want to mix it up on a mid-fight in the final round?
Yeah, it was a lot more the mid-fights, for a lot more the soldiers were just sort of flying in, causing chaos, and the rest of the teams were sort of hell-bent on trying to get the soldiers dealt with as quickly as possible, and sort of that sort of scurried any plans of rotations or anything. It was more sort of pandemonium kicking off, and that was some varying effects for both these teams. But yeah, as the game sort of went on, they sort of stabilised down a little bit. But yeah, we saw some pretty chaotic ones towards the start.
All right, well, they are threatening a spy to mid. I have a feeling that might not exactly be true, but I guess that's part of the mind games, right? Just really make them get worried. I know it's kind of rare because sometimes there's a couple of people still left these days that do the thing where you like spend like a second in like the ready up stage just before you can move and spawn on spy to just like spy check for one class exactly and then swap off. That used to be a lot more common back in the day and used for mind games quite a bit, but not so much these days anymore. Sometimes you see people just sit and sniper for like half a second and then swap off as well, but whatever the case, they're gonna be live soon.
Yeah, well, I only saw in the I-71 online qualifier, we saw I think Demiel decided to go for it for the first round of the first map. Was like just completely throwing a spanner in the works, going spy to mid. Got nothing like, but it was. I guess.
Imagine if it does work and the clip you get out of that.
Yeah, like for sure.
Sometimes you need to be content brained. That's how we ended up with the Market Gardener getting banned as well, however. So maybe not actually. Maybe sometimes it's a bad idea actually. You know, like actually I don't think we mentioned as well. Actually, the rest of the one playoffs will be tomorrow afternoon and evening as well, same time slots as today. Losers finals. The loser of this the loser of this against, I should say, Alien Workshop, who won earlier today, in losers finals will play at 17 CST, and then same time as this match tomorrow. It's gonna be the grand finals. The winner of this will be there already and have to defend that chance on the win, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. I believe we'll be. Yeah, we got more. I'll just say we're getting more. More bait in chat. We've got crits to mid, we've got spies to mid, we've got Hulong heaters to mid, we've got God knows what to mid, but we'll actually find out now as we roll into this golden cap. We'll get ourselves going. See who's going to take map number 1 of Sunshine. We've got Bagel and Reckoner coming up after this one. But, so far, Sunshine's all on the ball here. Let's see who takes this one.
Alright, here we go. It's going to be overtime golden cap to decide the winner here. 2-2 in regular time. We need a winner, however. Someone's got to win this map. Big damage right away. Omgal taken down right away. Ox tries to help, gets himself caught in the crossfire of that same little engagement. And suddenly it's looking really good. Eyes on the soldier trying to go behind. They take that guy down, but that one caused both mats caught immediately trying to take attention to the soldier in the air while the scouts are just pressing forward. Big mess of a fight, but the messier the fights were, the better it looks for Trust the Process so far in the regular game, and the Golden Cap won't change much about that, even if, once again, at the cost of the medic.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice one there coming through, but yeah, both beds going down means that, as it stands, going to be building up from scratch again, so however much of a win it is, it's not one of those where you can really push on too hard. There's both sides getting their players set up here, just either side of mid, and we'll be expecting some sacks potentially pretty soon.
Yeah, it's gonna not be quite the fast-paced Golden Cap that I'm sure either team would have liked to see him from the mid-fight forward. We'll have to build up another Uber, get ready from here, not really daring to fight without invincibility just yet. And take this one slow, but we've seen how these dynamics go before. This can very much explode into every which direction the second someone wants to make a move. Although I have a feeling, now that the whole match is on the line in just this one round, maybe they play a little bit more careful in this transition stage.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I know before we've seen a lot of double soldier sacks from Silvers and Geordie with honestly quite limited output from them. They've had a couple of good efforts. Geordie's the one to go in this time, gonna fake it just in front, jump behind, and yeah, shut down as the second bomb comes in. Not gonna get anything either, and on cue. 2 soldiers going, not a single kill between them, and it's a big risk, right, sending 2 soldiers in when you're not a pickup to begin with, because it means that this counter push can come in either way, as Varmkorv starting to sneak their way into mid here, using their numbers just to bully out any remaining red players. And it managed to be catching a kill into ALX as well, who's very weak here, running out into the cafe, 26 HP, ooh, just going to get out as 6. They're huge, he couldn't quite land enough damage with the scatter, could have been dangerous there. But just the process if they were to lose their demo member. As it stands now, just backing up, and we get the reverse situation that we were in a minute ago.
Alright, well, that traded with both mats having Debo once again up and running right away, so it's like nothing really happened at the end of the day. Just nicely decided to change positions on the map, but immediately we see Varmkorv Boogie just try to peek quite a bit, not trying to go deep just yet, just see if there's any chance they can sneak someone in here. Lots of soldier damage trying to come through on the side of Orcs as well, but no bombs just yet. Like I said, there's the whole map at stake now. Everyone's trying to be careful. Dow eats a just completely random pipe. Didn't see that coming from the low ground. Has to be careful to not catch another. Actually goes back for the pack, but they're not playing of that. I might not have even realized it was on a medic. No one sends a bomb in deep of that. Really would have loved to see that, but just didn't have precise knowledge who actually just ate 100 from that pipe.
Yeah, and Impo actually getting very low there. A bit of danger with going down, but I've got to say we've seen much more success from Varmkorv in these pushes into second, and they're coming in again now. Soldier, one Iron Tree goes in, doesn't get anything this time, but I think over the course of regulation time they've had far more success in these kind of these stalemate scenarios. Most of the time with their Freshly Valley, they've been making things work, but I'm sure in the respawn they're going to have to wait that out. I guess there's no rush. Still plenty of time to work with here, and they can have another go.
This is like such a common thing in Golden Caps, though. Like the normal map was like a really fast-paced game most of the time, and then the Golden Cap comes around, and suddenly no one wants to risk anything anymore. Suddenly the reality of the matter is sitting in for everyone here as well. There we go. Funny bomb comes through, misses the air shot. But Dowie knows very well that ground rocket at the end will be so easy, and this auto hits it too. Has to use eventually. Can't hold forever, not if the team can't get the kill fast enough anyway. Certainly wasn't the case here. That's gonna do it. Finally, one small risk gets taken, and immediately they can execute off it. Might have to wait for spawns.
Yeah, they're only one down though, right? Like, because AF went down on the Trust the Process side as well in the meantime, so it's not even like the worst thing in the world. It's not that the counter aggression can come in that quick, because it's only one extra player here for the red side, and aggression coming in now from Varmkorv, taking this space all the way across second. But Dowie's been building hard, building fast, back towards spawn. Might just have by the end of this fight, but Ubercharge being used in early here. They really want to go quick here to Varmkorv all the way into the last, getting a little bit of cap time. But this Ubercharge coming up on Dowie so soon. This fight, 95, 98%. And it might not be quick enough here for Varmkorv. Dowie can use, but obviously would prefer to not if possible. As Impo looks to scurry out. Maybe back in a little bit here. And is there a re-engagement here on the cards? Dowie, his Ubercharge might be getting forced out here. Gets bombed in the end. And yeah, nice re-engagement coming there from Varmkorv. Using that numbers advantage to get onto the medic and deny that potential ad coming through from Dowie, and they're going to have a decent sized ad off the back of that. What's that, 50%?
Yeah, that looked promising with the Pyro at the end, right? You just sit there, defend from the last few people spamming in, but couldn't stop everything at the end of the day. The Pyro just not pulling their weight, unfortunately, with that much pressure coming forward. Boogie now a brilliant chance to take from here. There's a gun, there's a sniper, everything's just trying to hold this one, but it's going to be a difficult one against this Ubercharge. Yeah,
the gun's down already, and Silver's doing very, very best here. Getting a good amount of damage to the info, but pays with his life in the end. And now, look, the push is coming through. 2 soldiers down on the defending side. But actually, it's both scouts down here. There's no cap presence coming through. And they can't get any more. Aaron Trim and Zeal, last 2 alive. Af on the heavy, doing very, very good work towards the backside of that fight. And now they're going to push out. And look, Dowie's not had to use. Obviously, it wasn't an Uber to use for the most of that fight, but now the ad has flipped all the other way.
Alright, we're back to the red team. Xio still has 60. I mean, if they get maybe some like slightly delayed push into mid here, then it might go well. Sniper should help a lot with that. Suddenly, maybe you don't want to just run into the midpoint all of a sudden. And suddenly it doesn't matter, Xio. They just have already, basically.
Yeah, good building there, and that sniper pick, the one pick coming through on that scout there really sort of puts the thought in the back of the minds of we've got to be so careful coming in here. And actually Aventry is going to try and go the other way, try and burst in with the sack, doesn't make anything work. But counter-sack's coming through the other side also. Earl's going in an aggro too, but yeah, not going to get too much there. But yeah, that sniper on mid is a nice pick, just hiding in that valley there, catching the play coming through Cafe. Really just plants that thought of fear in the Trust the Process side, and particularly on the medic with the ad. It's so risky, a player down running into a sniper when they might not have even known when the sniper was stood. So risky business side, not to make the risk, and I guess with it being Golden Cap, you know, one mistake could be the end. So decide to play it safe on this one.
Yeah, playing it safe for now with the sniper. Maybe that's the right choice for at least Varmkorv Boogie in this engagement here. However, big damage by Trust the Process. 2 kills out of nowhere, just going up high, completely out of sight for anyone trying to take position on the blue end of this stalemate. And this stalemate has firmly ended right now, just moved across the map. Spawns still quite a while away, and they might not even get the forward spawns. And it's going to be really good news for Trust the Process to just get into the second point, maybe already. Coming up clutch if they do get them, but not quite. Not here yet.
Yeah, no forward spawns as well for the 2 defenders. That means no forward spawn on the demo, and they're going to start walking in here. Hughie's low, but actually 2 frags coming in. Ox and Omga sweeping up. And that's a demo man down here. ALX hits the floor. And oh, scout partner A trying to get onto the cap here. Nice denial coming in there for the blue soldiers. Just getting in time to block the cap, but actually going to go down regardless. Ox taken out as Ubercharge used across. They're going to get the point for it. And there's actually a backup attempt. Silver's all the way in on the medic as well. Not going to get out. That might have been a little bit too much to ask for. but we're getting back into sort of regulation time territory, right? And there's a bit more chaos, games going a bit freer, people are sort of flying around, taking a little bit more risk here, as you have more bombs coming in from Trust the Process, but I'm sure they're going to give up second here and have to get Dowie out to build the supercharge.
See what's gonna be. So much cap already, but the threat of the backup is still there unless they finally get the point cap up as well. It's gonna take forever to do that, but luckily have eyes on everyone. No threat of a backup really happening doing any of this. Quite unfortunate to not be able to play into that a little bit there for Trust the Process. Get back. You was close to being there, it's not quite up yet. So it's gonna be a matter of just hoping no one does anything in the meantime. It looks like off that small margin, Varmkorv Boogie more than happy to just wait in the meantime as well.
Yeah, I believe Dowie wasn't building exactly ideally sort of when there was that spam war around Valley, so I think Zio might have thought they were equalising out, and I think they would have been had Trust the Process been building perfectly optimally. But of course, you've got to balance building on with keeping your team alive, and they managed to keep everyone alive, and yet going to stabilise out. See if Trust the Process can work their way in again. They've tried it before with those couple of miracle kills, but losing Geordie to start with isn't exactly what they were looking for, and maybe there's a chance of a counter here. Actually, big pressure from Hugie and Zio here going through Cafe. Maybe there's counter push on the cards.
Trying to peek in aggressively from Flowers over here, or Cappy even, to get some damage on Blue. Not quite coming through just yet, unfortunately. No medic wants to really commit the Uber into any of this just yet either. It's just remaining a really, really careful back and forth in this golden cap to find a winner. After explosive first 4 rounds, I guess 2 each in regular time. I think slowing down was inevitable here at some point. Sylph's trying to make a move, can't quite hit enough there, unfortunately. At least he's not going down. In the meantime, the flank's trying to come in. Does make some good motions there. Ox caught in the crossfire right away. Finally a kill for their side. Jordy traded out so quickly.
Yeah, taken so weak there in the event. There's a nice little hiding spot coming through, but not quite enough. Get the trade, 1 for 1. So I guess it opens up a little bit of space. Might be a time to go for something more, but again, I think they're going to be content to go back. Whereas Alex is actually on the loose cannon.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's been on that, but we're trying.
In regulations, pulling it out for last holds, and I believe may have just been alive since that previous last hold that came through, so might just not have got round to changing off. But if it works, I guess. Maybe.
Well, if he doesn't double donk drop the medic, who cares, you know?
That is true, yeah.
That's all I'm really here for.
Oh, Jordy on Sniper.
I don't remember last time I've seen Jordy snipe.
Let's
see if he's got it. It's a tough sideline to make work right now as well. It's like, you have to play for like not med kills for a little while there before you get enough space to actually go for that. Ooh, actually pulling the trigger early. Aventry trying to just get rid of the threat once the ball, but take some self out with that decision instead. And suddenly there is now much better sideline for Jordy. There's no flank soldier denying them most much.
Yeah, it's caught in the corner. So scary when there's a demo man just sat staring you down, and Jordy's going to go down as a result of that. Getting spammed into the corner. There's little that the rest of the team could do to stop that. So, the 2 minutes on the clock on the timer. So there's limited time left now to get something working. Will Jordy come back up on Sniper? I believe, yeah, Jordy's back up on Sniper. Wants to give it another go. Feels confident.
Well, he can be confident all he wants. He needs to be fast at this point. There's only 2 minutes left. And actually, it was right after the round timer. It's actually shorter than the map timer as well. So technically, there would be a mid reset here. Even I don't think there's enough time after that mid reset to matter anymore. But I don't think they wanted to go back to the end of any of these 2 clocks either way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's see, Jordy going back to the same angle. Going to try and get different results. But yeah, there's pressure going. The Arentry is just always such a threat here. Gets no scope down in the end. Nice little no scope coming in. But Uber Charge is used all the way behind from Choke. They're running in. Hugie and Zio coming in fast, but Dowie's got a better Uber here. Hugie going to be maybe getting caught here in Cafe. Goes down. It's 2 picks now. Should have decided to trust the process, but there's a few low HPs. They're going to have to get these players picked up eventually. But Zio's gone down also as the retreats coming through. Ox taken out in lobby, and this is a really good chance here, right in the dying seconds of this golden cap. Trust the process running in. The spawners coming through, but it's still a 5v3 for a moment. They're running in already. Silver's all the way onto the point. Huge on the heavy, really trying to be the last line of defense, but goes down. And there's more spam coming onto the point. Players just getting in. Omga can't get there in time, and it's a really good last minute push coming through for Trust the Process, and they're going to take map number 1.
Really clutch stuff. This took 44 minutes to do, but And they got it in the end. The final round will be theirs. And that's going to be it. Almost a full distance golden cap decided just in the last minute. In favor of Trust the Process, taking home map 1. Incredibly close call at this point. I mean, we were not sure who picked what. It doesn't really matter with maps this close. It really could go either way, but just minor things at the end make all the difference. And Jordy Sniper being a big part of that, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Getting that nose cup onto Andrea, and then also running out, getting the big headshot on the retreating Omga as well, running back. But I've got to say, we said through that game, like, Just the Process had a little bit of trouble breaking out of those stalemates. And at the like in that final fight, it was actually Varmkorv who decided just to try and catch them completely out. Saw nobody was watching choke and just ran through with Med and Scouse and tried to go behind. It was them that initiated, and they just couldn't get back out in time. But I guess if it works, it works. And Trust the Process taking it in golden cap. Very close before a golden mid-fight, actually. There was less than a minute, I believe, on the clock by the time that round came through. And stepping up now on Bagel, this is a map that Trust the Process have already beaten Varmkorv on earlier this season in 3-2 fashion, so about as close as you can get for a Koth map. But I guess they're still probably feeling pretty confident coming at this one.
Yeah, I mean, I always say wouldn't have left it in the map rotation for this match tonight, right? You could have certainly banned it if you really would have wanted to. Decision was made, it's going to be fine. And quite frankly, I don't think I disagree too much. Like I said, the 2 rounds they did get in that match looked really good. The final one was, quite frankly, a bit of a stumble from Varmkorv Boogie at the time. So I can see why they would still have good confidence in a map that they otherwise look pretty good in the season. I overall can't really fault the logic that too much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've got to say, we say Varmkorv, Chris Burrows is going to be feeling happy about this one, but these teams, especially through regulation, they were so tightly matched. And even in Golden Cap, to be honest, like Varmkorv had chances to work with. I think both of them are still potentially feeling happy about this one coming forward. I know we said that you said before, I'm going to say they were just sort of shouting a lot. Maybe that might playing these might affect the mental somehow, but we'll have to see. As Koth, completely different beast, completely different sort of style of game, completely different game altogether, almost. So test very different parts of these teams.
Very much so, especially after such a slow golden cap too. It's only a whole different one now coming up instead of a slow sunshine game that we had for the second half of that game, basically. Second, third even, I guess. Or third even. So yeah, from slow stalemates now back into full action on Bagel. Gonna be a whole big change of pace. And I mean, like we said before, they were close once before. Production, can we put on stream in a minute's time what the last thing they put in chat here? You will understand why it's funny. So, keep your eyes on that in a moment, chat. I promise it's gonna be good. Don't worry about it, Dr. Underscore. Okay. It's just gonna be funny chat messages in a minute. Yeah, but every player is just getting themselves ready in the meantime. I don't know what they're talking about other than that. I just read the first message and laughed. It's really it. Someone disconnected, rejoined, classic. They're getting there. I guess, after this much sunshine, I can't blame anyone for wanting a quick break request.
Yeah, it was a long one, wasn't it? It's about as, I guess, without a golden mid-fight, it's pretty much as long as of a game as you can have, going all the distance pretty much in golden cap also.
Reminiscent, quite frankly, of the hour-long granary games that changed the golden cap time limits.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess with Bagel, there is, I guess it could also last quite a while, but it obviously can't last quite as long as a 5CP map. But there is always a possibility. There is possibly a map 3 after this as well, if this was to go the way of Varmkorv Boogie. And I think they're, at this point, hoping it does go all the distance. As just waiting to get underway, see if people are able to change the config, see if people manage to join the server.
Well, they're getting there. Alright, here's the real take now, the one that definitely isn't cherry-picked information. The Red Scouts did better than the Blue Scouts previous map, overall. All in app had a really good game. So clearly, that's all you need to know, right? And they're just gonna win Koth because of that. I think is how that works. I think that's flawless logic, honestly.
It's pretty flawless logic. I guess the bagel is like kind of less on the scout. Obviously, it's still very good for scouts, but like it's not quite a product. But yeah, I do think the two scouts on the red side did very very well last map. But that's not to say obviously Hughie and Omgar have a big performance earlier on in the season and can both step up in a big way when required to.
Okay, thank you, production, for the insight of the players on the server. That was exactly very helpful.
Lucky in chat enjoying it as well.
The debating if okay, they're actually technically not done yet, but this is like a minute in the future. The debating if they should just like take a nap real quick. And Sylph said you can nap tomorrow in your snooze fest game. So, you know, they're getting ready, they're in the right spirits. And this is like bad information to give your opponents, by the way. Now they can weaponize playing boring against them. It's powerful to have, honestly.
Yeah, I guess maybe not on Koth as much, but I guess if it was a...
I guess not.
Yeah, maybe if
I
you're playing
say that,
boring
I've
on
seen
Koth.
exactly one slow Koth game in my life this season.
What div was it in?
Open.
Okay, understandable.
Like, it was a 3-0 game as well, but like, I don't know how they managed on both sides to not do anything. One team just like got a couple kills and then nothing happened for 30 seconds straight each. It was a weird one. I hope to God that these players are a little bit better than that. Quite frankly, I've seen them do better than that before this season, so not like we don't have seen how they were doing on Bagel before, but I guess that's just, speaking of weaponized information, they know they play Bagel against each other, they know maybe a couple of things to look out for in certain areas as well. Maybe who likes to do what kind of flanks, how they want to play the mid-fights as well is really important. There's stuff you can just take away from those if you paid enough attention during your match, or just went back to the demo, I guess. Done your homework a little bit to, in I guess, one of these teams' situations at least, not have the mistakes repeat. And, you know, just close off the game that you are 2-0 up in, I guess. That's what happened last time. They couldn't find the finish. 3 rounds straight. Got just punished at the end, barely choking online. Let's see how it goes now. I mean, expectations are high when you're letting the map be played again.
Oh, you gotta be ready. It. Yeah, you allow it through in the first pick, and I guess credit the Trust Pro to decide. You know what, we're happy with it. Won it once, we'll reverse sweep you again if it comes to that.
Okay, the players are now debating what is the best thing to drink while gaming. The options are alcohol, soda, and just water, apparently.
They are the 3 drinks.
Religious choices being made in the chat right now, in the server chat right now, but I don't think we'll get to see an answer before they start, and it's just gonna have to be decided by gameplay quality in the end, I guess. We'll see who wins between who said water? Impo, I guess? Yeah, Impo's on Team Water.
I'm on Team Water. I am always a water drinking gamer.
The milk option? I don't think there's a milk option, really.
Oh no, I do know of any people that like they'll just sit with like a carton of milk as they're as they're gaming.
Me when I try to game, but my bones are weak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like...
We'll see. Oh, look at that! They're so wholesome. They're telling each other to have fun in full caps, which is definitely not threatening at all. Does not have aggressive aura whatsoever when you type nice messages in full caps. You know, it's better than saying mean things, I guess.
Yeah, I guess like anything can like sound like ominous or threatening if it's said like with the right like tone.
It doesn't help that they're only telling one person on the server to have fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a
only Jordy is allowed to have fun. No one else will have fun.
Be having the fun.
That's even worse to say to a soldier main going to Koth, actually, now that I think about it.
Well, anyway, we've finally worked out. They've no naps, everyone's woken up, alarm clocks have gone off, and we're here now for map number 2. We're on to Bagel, and we're going to hopefully have a similarly close game as the previous one, because it was a belter we've come off the back of, as we roll out, getting ready for this first mid-fight of this second map.
Yeah, they got the water, they got the fizzy drinks, they're ready to go into map number 2. Really close map 1. If you've missed it, you definitely missed out, I would say. 44 minutes of sunshine only to be clutched in the just final minute. And now it's going back to King of the Hill. Big Bomb's right away, but looks like blue team just defends themselves quite nicely. Still a Maniac running in the back lines, but I think it's going to be enough in the end.
Oh, good attempt at the air shot coming in there from Silvers. Coming in, gets the first pop into the air onto Zio, but doesn't quite manage to land that second one. Could have been massive if that second rocket were to land, but it doesn't happen. And now even Uber's point held by Varmkorv boogie. As a push from the right hand side comes in. Starting to edge this cap already. A bit of damage coming across onto Alex. Going to have to be careful with that one. Don't want to be losing the demo man here, as they just have to balance between getting the cap time and not taking too much damage. But never mind, Alex goes down. It's not ideal whatsoever. It's definitely a big loss here.
Okay, first little bit running pretty smoothly on the point, especially where the demo went for a little bit longer. The skip point control fairly relaxed. You'd think so anyway, but no, before Alex is even up, they just take the exchange over the point. Jordy taking off the beam does not bode well for the rest of this. Try to even sneak some cap time doing all of this, but I don't think that's going to happen. Either Rush on the flank, denied as well. None of these plays working out as intended, and now the rest of them just have to go home empty-handed.
They're in trouble.
Only half of them get there as well.
Yeah, it was a bit of a spam fest there up in that choke. As yeah, we've already had a minute and 15 on the clock for Varmkorv, and they're still dealing with Jordy as well. We've got to be a good push coming out so far, because the process not able to get onto the point at all so far. Impo takes a fair bit of damage here as they push back in, but actually never mind, they're getting onto Ombre and Ox. That's a bit more promise in this push than previous, but Impo's still alive, managed to heal up, and yeah, they're going to have to flip the point back, but look, over half the time has gone down in that singular hold there, and I'm going to say Varmkorv going to be happy with that one, and happy as well with getting another kill into Jordy, but Ubercharge used in so deep here. It's all the way behind Lobby, going to get the force out onto Zio, literally in spawn. That's a really rough Uber to be having to use there for Varmkorv. They're going to get space with it, but maybe not quite as much as they were hoping for, right? They had to use so far back, means that there's only a finite distance you can travel with a scout, particularly running through such a tight, enclosed area, and Af actually wants to go in for even more here. Maybe overextends ever so slightly. He's taken down 1-for-1 scout for scout. Is still a chaos DM fest going on here over on the blue half of this map. He's going to maybe settle out eventually. So trying to defend onto the point, but
oh, there it is.
Never mind.
Jordy coming up clutch for the team. Big one right there. However, the stat number's down. They might have to give up the cap a little bit here. The not cap. Oh no, we delayed Zero spawn by so much. Well, we're getting the force. It was a pure accident as well. The scout just walked over the point to help get this force. And I mean, they got the force. That's good news, but this man is dead for so much longer now.
And demo as well. Impo got denied also off the back of that, so it really wasn't ideal just for a cap that lasted, what, like 15 seconds?
Well, one med kill on their side would make up for it, but not enough. Barely living that one on like 10 HP.
Dangerous though now, right? There's an opportunity for a counter, but with a low HP med as well. Health packs are scarce, particularly towards the centre of the map, but they're not going to be deterred from this. As just the process run very deep here and get set up into this this forward hold, this forward clamp as best as they can. With Uber advantage as well. It's going to be a potentially tough one. There's about another 15 seconds before Zio's going to have.
Yeah, this forward hold needs to get some value, and we're trying to go very aggressive doing that. Jordy peeking really deep. That might just end it by itself. One down now all of a sudden. And the forward hold, quick good news for Varmkorv boogie. Don't have to deal with that too much longer. They're not going to get insane value out of it, but they can still fight back on point. Uber is there after all. Can just decide to exchange right away, and it's a solo scout Uber that no, everyone's getting. It's not a solo scout Uber. This is just not an Uber at all.
Yeah, the plan must have been to Uber the scout and run across onto Zio. They get the force, but like at what cost? It's a terrible Uber coming out, but just the process regardless. As they back off, lose the point, lose both of their scouts, and have to retreat all the way back into lobby as we go into the final minute of cap time for both these teams. And the Uber charge is still a while away. It's looking fairly decent here for Varmkorv. His bomb comes in onto Zio, who takes a lot of damage, and he's taken down by the fadeaway rocket. Really nice work by Silvers there. Going in, not going to be long for this world likely, but we've had a pause, and the point is about to flip, so maybe I'm going to have to eat my words here and trust the process coming back in strong.
Okay, well, there's a high chance Aaron P might still die anyway. There's like 3 people looking at him with a projectile already about to explode. I think odds are pretty bad for his survival there, which conversely might not help get the med kill to even things out just now. Because that's the one that really matters right now. Omega is in position to get there, but any time wasted shooting other people to try and help his teammates is just time not spent killing the medic, and that's really all that matters now.
Yeah, nice counter push coming in, and particularly really nice rocket there from Silvers getting onto Zeo, and that's going to mean that it was even Ubers beforehand. That means that Dowie, despite not having the point, is going to have this advantage. And it could be pretty big coming into this the end of this game. Is there going to be time for Zeo to get back up, build up an Uber charge, and get it to good use before the end, or could this be just the process on the front foot for the remainder of this round?
This little break is really good as well, because chat obviously knows how every player name is pronounced. We know that, so they can tell us how is Xeo actually. How do you say the X in this name? I've heard 3 different ways. I say Xeo because I don't know. Sounds like an X, but you say Xeo basically, like a Z or Z, whatever.
Yeah.
He could also be a China Weep, and it could be like Shio or something. And we just are all wrong, actually. And I've heard it many different ways. I don't actually know.
And we're not pronouncing the full stop either at the start, are we? Like, let's do like dot and then all like full stop.
To be
and
fair,
then, like,
that dot used to be behind his name, and then he changed it the other way around for some reason.
it's like a like the thing you have at like the end of a URL. Like
Who knows? It's a miracle. There's a couple of those. We also say Sylphs differently. I used to say Sylphs, but then I heard other people say Sylphs, so I say Sylphs now, but I don't actually know. It's just how it is, right? You just see something written, and English language, like you could just make up the rules by yourself.
Oh yeah, literally, like there's every single like letter or like pair of letters. There's like 10 ways you can pronounce it. And it's like, aha,
okay,
you pronounce
well,
it as if
a
this
Polish
would.
person that used to play with him says Shio, so I'm tending to believe that more than anything else ever people say.
Shio, yeah, okay. That
said, I will still say Xio anyway. I will not change anything. But it's good to know that I'm wrong.
Agent of Chaos.
I choose to be wrong. It's as simple as that. That's really it. Worth mentioning as well, which I completely forgot to say, and I had to fact check in the middle of the game actually as well. Because I didn't remember what was the last time Ox played, and he actually did just play last season, and I completely blanked it out of my mind. He got second in Division 2, actually. Got Div 2 players 2 seasons in a row at that point. The first one he lost in quarters, the second one he got grants. I completely blanked it out of my mind. I knew he played something recently. I forgot he actually just almost won Div 2. I was like going to Game 3 as well. I completely forgot about that, but yeah. He's just a sub on this team, obviously. They only played like half the season with Tenon, and the other half played by literally anyone else on the roster. They had like 4 different soldiers play the entire season basically in that slot. Yeah, I just forgot about that completely, and I just thought to myself, what was the last thing he played? Like, he can't be coming into this completely cold. He must be like obviously actively playing a game in some capacity for them to trust him. But oh yeah, this might be his first Div 1 game technically. It's a bit of a strange one to be thrown into, I guess, in some ways, but they have the faith, and yeah, he has the talent for it.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty decent job so far from everything I can tell, particularly on over on Sunshine. Some of those sacks that they were sending in had good output with them, and was doing pretty good jobs. So
certainly. So I mean, they are like the kind of team that has changed a lot of positions as well. HughGV, for example, used to play Doublemint for the longest time as well. I am pretty sure last season he played like a game of Soldier for them as well, if I'm not completely losing my mind. And Omega played Devil or something. They just are clicking buttons on the class select screen sometimes, I swear.
Spin the wheel and it's like, oh, you all played this week.
They're just pretty good on like many classes. Entry used to play like Medic for a short while as well there at some point. They kind of just play a little bit of everything, but everyone's like settling on like some main at some point. Omega plays Hitscan mostly. I think he played heavy in Highland a lot as well, but obviously sticks a scout for the most part. Entry, other than the short stint on Medic, usually has like Soldier main. Working out quite well for them as well. And yeah, new additions, Impo and Xio, Shio, whatever you want to call them, on Medic this season as well. Coming up from decent Div 1 season last season actually as well. I mean, Mansman and Pram, he's just joining teams that are fun, I guess, at this point. And it's been going well so far, but they need to bring this one to a finish now, and that's going to require 2 maps being won back-to-back. Don't much of a choice about this one, not much room for error. Can, I guess, afford to lose 2 rounds here, but with this little time left, you'd hope you can just clean up these last 30 seconds. Get rid of this Uber first, however.
Yeah, it's a rough one, right? There's a ad coming in. Dowie in with the Ubercharge. Gets a couple of kills with it, but the point does flip the side of Varmkorv. And Shio currently fairly safe. I said with bated breath as Jordy's in there in the face. Doing damage, and they've still got players behind to scramble up. Only one alive now. It's Earl all the way back on his own side. The cap doesn't come through, and Varmkorv, despite having that big diss out, they come in and despite having dissed out and no players alive at the time that the game resumes, they run back in and they've got the ones with 5 seconds on the point with an Uber charge ready to use here. So all the work to do here for just the process. Sylv's going in behind, Uber charge used towards the point. And yeah, it's a tough one to work through here. Players falling left and right as Arantria hugely sweeping up the players on the point. Yeah, round number 1, I guess the start they're wanting, right? Varmkorv going up down, coming in and taking this first round of Bagel.
There you go. It's as easy as this. Is what pause happened. Was a map talk, I guess. Disguised as a pause all this time. The real question now is, if it's Shio, does that mean it's also pronounced Osh? We're just dissecting the English language today.
Yeah. Yeah, English is arguably one of the worst languages.
So actually, you know, I guess English might not be at fault here, actually. Impo's not quite hitting enough with those stickies across the point. He's really trying, but aerial denial is what really matters right now. Bombs across, looking for that big kill, and they're not finding anything.
Yeah, 2 soldiers committing so hard. They're just pretty well there with the air stickies, the aerial defense. Yeah, just Earl alive. Last up again, run all the way back, and this is a very strong last minute or so of gameplay coming in for Varmkorv boogie, getting a aggressive setup here. And yeah, with Uber advantage, space advantage, and the point, potentially an opportunity to get a lot of time on this clock.
But the forward hold, it's Wild One right now, not going too deep there, but hitting so much damage on Arion, trying to dare peek out of that right side. And in the meantime, the soldiers behind hits the damage, met down right away. Actually popping Uber for this one. I don't know if that was necessarily needed to clean up these kills, but I mean, they're gonna have advantage afterwards anyway, so who really cares to clean up everything with that?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if you use the Uber if you kill literally every player on the other team.
Still 30 yet.
And yeah, Shio up with yeah, decent bit of that as well. Potentially something that's workable. As they're going to come in for round number 2 here. We have just the process coming in again from low, but they're going to use Geordie so early to a trap in lobby. Will be dangerous here, and they're going to be in risk of losing more as well as Alex taken weak. Yeah, more players falling as decide to run back, retreat, build it up, and come back out when the Uber charges have equalised. But again, more time ticking off the clock. Again, we're coming to almost half the round in this one hold here for Varmkorv, and it's not showing any signs of budging so far.
Alright, well, this is still doable, I suppose, in some ways, but it's gonna go a lot cleaner than this, and already, once again, trying to break past his forward hold, just getting punished instantly. Any kill that is possible to steal from the team, Omega is there to just do the rest of the damage. Does so much work up there with the rest of the team, and there we go. This time around, it's the other way around. Omega does the damage, rest of the team cleans up for him as no one escapes, and there, once again, not really choosing to use the Uber into any of this, and there's no time left anymore. They need to get something going quick.
60 seconds on that clock, and just waiting for that demo man to spawn in. But yeah, it's gonna be so quick. But every time they're walking out, they're just getting nuked as soon as they walk out onto the grass. It's really a really good coordinated spam coming in from the defensive Varmkorv boogie, and they're coming in now using in 3 main this time onto Geordie on the soldier, but it's a better Uber coming up for Shio. Omega as they're dancing around on this point. Big push behind here going. Geordie's very far, and Sylv's going to catch a kill on Arantria in the lobby, and they're actually going even 1-for-1 here. So this has been the push out they've really been looking for. Maybe they're sending the soldier in with the Uber charge to main, could be the way through, but they've not managed to get the cap just yet. Having to play about having to try and play the cap time. Yeah, it was a win, but it wasn't a big win for just the processors. Now using more players also. Sylv's going to do a bit of cleanup work here on the demo as well. Could potentially get more. No, decides to back out. Doesn't want to risk his life too hard. Yeah, there's 17 seconds left in that clock. It's still a long way to go for just the process, but it's a decent start for them if they're going to try and get back into this.
It's a far cry from enough right now, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Let's see how this shapes up from here. It could have been their time to forward hold. Don't quite get to put one fully together. Actually, Uber's only coming up now as well, and that gets forced right away. No chance to hold onto this whatsoever. Blue only has to use theirs now, and they can just chase deep with this one, and as long as they kill anything, they have plenty time to cap afterwards.
Well, you say as long as they kill anything, they didn't just kill anything, they killed basically everything. Yeah, exactly. There's a great push coming in. It's getting taken down so early, but yeah, medic down. Only one scout left alive at the end of it, and they're going to have to sack for point here. With over 2 minutes on the clock, it's dire straits. Yeah, there's no way in. The door is locked. Nearly a big air shot.
This one wasn't even close. This is very concerning, actually. After such a close map 1, and maybe we got like a little bit messed up with the confidence of leaving this map in the map rotation. I mean, you know, they won it once. What's the worst thing that can happen? And you might be watching it happen right now.
I have a theory. Trust the process. Wanted to go 2-0 down to install fear of the reverse sweep again. So now they're going to come back and win 3-2 like they did in regular season. That's the master plan.
I mean, last time they played, they were the ones going 2 up, so I don't know what that one.
Yeah, well, they're on crits this time, so maybe that's the mix-up that they're looking to make work in this situation. I believe it will be spotted out, but it's getting ready to be used any moment now. Getting the stickies loaded. Look, big air shot, but no, they're going to lose everyone.
Oh,
no. Taken down late as well. ALX taken down just before the crits could get used, and they go 6 for none off that mid-fight, and we're back to where we were mere seconds ago on this forward hold. Big advantage for sure, and a lot of work still to be done by Trust the Process.
I understand we should hype this up, but it's hard to not feel like it's over with what we've seen so far. They've really got to just completely overhaul the entire game plan, and the sack wave certainly isn't it, and the crit squeak wasn't even coming up last time, so maybe actually getting a crit squeak to matter this time around would be a good help. Gotta just find the actual angle to make this work, however, and it's been tough for anyone else to get an angle to do anything. What's the crit squeak gonna do about that?
Silver's had a good go there with the bomb landing in, but yeah, the air denial was so good. Didn't manage to get that second rocket off, and yeah, they're losing more before the push even comes in, but they get the force this time. Second attempt at the sack wave comes in, but Huge is in on the medic in the backlines with the sword and kills Nelly with the sword. The 3-room blade comes out, and he's going to clean up even more as well. Gets the kill onto Silvers, and the forward hold just stands for even longer, and Trust the Process have just never found a way to breach this.
I mean, this is what I mean though, like, the Bagel rounds they did win looked so good last time we've seen these two rosters play. And they just kind of choked on the line last time around, and they're making it look exactly like that as well. It was a small mistake, they learned from it, and they're not going to let that be repeated, and they're just all over this one now. Brilliant bombs, clean up by the scouts, everyone's on massive kill streaks, apparently you just died, but that's beside the point. Really strong from Varmkorv Boogie, and they're making this look a severe map knowledge issue right now.
Yeah, there's a real chance that this could be a clean round with 3 minutes still on the clock, as it's still a very big advantage. Shio nearly has the Uber charge, and actually Impo going down could spell a decent turn of the tide here, and the force coming out also is definitely a progress coming through for Trust the Process, but it's so late into the round. There's only 2 minutes ticked off this timer. They're in such dire straits regardless. Yuji's in already. They really wanted to get onto Dowie, and they get onto him as well. There's not even going to be advantage at the end of the day for Trust the Process, and they're going to have to fight here as well. Alf actually on the point, having a fight with Omega here, who denies a little bit more time here on the cap, and yeah, there's going to be 30 seconds left basically by the time the cap comes through, so it's going to be such a rough hold here for Trust the Process if they are going to be the ones to come back here.
Still a sliver of hope left for this match. At least they got to get to the point this time around, Sis, with the bump in onto the combo. They're getting away with it for now. No one's chasing from main at all, but they still want to put some heals forward as well. Gets Info caught in the crossfire. Eevee taken down as well. All they're doing really is just trade a little bit. That might still be good enough, honestly. There's the bomb by Ox on the medic. Hits 2 clean ones. Matt down. Not an issue. They have to fight back. Giving a point now does not instantly lose you the round, maybe, but it sure isn't a good look right now. And it's turning closer. Sis with one more last-ditch effort onto the medic. Hits some decent damage, but split between the medic and the soldier. It delays things a lot. They don't want to have anyone put through bad spawns, but they decided to just call it quits at some point. We don't need that much more. Just get the cap time under wings again. That Omega spawn a little later, who cares? The pressure on by them having to block now is much more important.
Yeah, for sure. And with a full Uber charge here on Shio, and they're putting it to good use already, denying this cap, really eking out all these last seconds on this clock. Now he's in trouble here in the house as well, and there's more low HPs here on the Trust the Process side, and yeah, he's looking so good here for Varmkorv as the timer ticks down, the final few seconds. Is anyone even going to get to the point in time? It might not even happen. There's a little bit of a third time coming down in overtime, and Jordy's going to do his very best, but very rough. Actually, a couple of good rockets there to Shio, who's weak, just about gets out, but yeah, risky stuff. But they're just having to sack players in here, and it's not going to matter, and it's a clean 3-0 coming in at map number 2, and I've got to say, what a turnaround after that first round. That first round was so close and so well fought by both of the teams, but these last two have been dominance for Varmkorv Boogie.
Yeah, it's making this look easy. I mean, we had, quite frankly, too long a map one, so we're gaining some time back on the splits right now on the second map. I was wondering, it is in fact a 15-minute bagel, all things concerned. So yeah, they're just speedrunning this map too. They want to still get the winner seed in grand finals. And
yeah,
they might just get them there. I'm already open to logs, and 2 to 12 on the map depth is certainly a statistic to look at.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think that one of the big reasons why they had so much trouble getting out there is that they just couldn't keep Dowie alive, and that's always not just on Dowie, but it's on the whole team. As there was always gaps open in the flanks, there was bombs coming in that weren't getting dealt with, and they barely had an Uber charge to use in those last two rounds. Like they were building up and not getting to use in time. There was people flanking behind, cutting off the med when they were on crits, and like yeah, they just really struggled, and yeah, they never had a good answer to those forward holds either. And yeah, it's one of those things. If you start steamrolling like that, it can be really hard to stop from either side.
Well, maybe Impo wasn't lying when he was talking about the account thing earlier. maybe it was true all along. The beast has been unleashed, he says. And I can't disagree, really. He's trying to intimidate them, and I don't think he needs to, honestly. I think they're scared now after that performance either way. Regardless of what they say, the gameplay itself spoke volumes about the at least skill level on this past map. Who knows if that will translate going forward from here, but it's something to keep in mind for sure. You gotta keep yourself composed, and it certainly bodes well for the mid-fights, if nothing else.
Yeah, well, I guess over on the Trust the Process side, they're going to put that behind them now. Think back that 5CP was going well, and they won that first map. As we're going back to 5CP again to decide this series, we're going to be on Reckoner, which is again a map these two teams haven't faced each other on before, but it's the one that they're both happy to leave in the pool, and it's the one that's going to be deciding who goes through to the grand final directly and who has to go into that lower bracket game against Alien Workshop that both teams have definitely said in chat they are very not keen on being the ones to do.
Yeah, it's gonna be all deciding Reckoner game now. I do wonder if this is gonna be looking like a regular gameplay on a regular time on for map 1 or the golden cap of map 1 instead. Suddenly dynamics have shifted a little bit. This is full steam ahead. It looked like the past 15 minutes on Varmkorv Boogie pretty much. Maybe Trust the Process needs to slow things down a little bit and just make them, feel the wrath of the standmate a little bit more. He just won out the boring way, maybe, but maybe it's an effective way right now after what just transpired.
Yeah, I've got to say from Varmkorv, like I was much more impressed. Obviously, I'll harp on the point before with on Sunshine their ability to sort of break those stalemates, particularly the ones around second and mid. So I know it's one which you can find yourself in a little bit on Reckoner, and I'm thinking if we get to those situations again, I think they might be coming out slightly on top there, but in sort of open play when it's a game of DM, we know obviously it's a good mid, especially for the scouts. You can scout can run around and cause some chaos, and we sure saw that on Sunshine, and that's what I think Trust the Process is really hoping for in this map. They can repeat what they managed there on Sunshine.
Gonna be one hell of a map, I hope, for the last one here tonight, and then we have obviously 2 more games in Division 1 left to be played. Loser of this will face off against Alien Workshop, despite neither of them wanting to tomorrow at 17 CEST. So, the early game slot once again tomorrow to decide who's the second team in Grand Finals. Joining the winner of this, it might be a rematch. I guess the chances there. Whoever loses here might get a shot at redemption in just less than 24 hours, but you gotta get there first of all. That's still up for grabs, I suppose, every which direction just now. Getting the easy early slot from tonight helps a lot as well. Gets you the map pick advantage right away to get to just have a little bit of an upper hand on the picks by itself, and that matters quite a bit. I mean, if a certain map can be like as much of a deal breaker as Bagel has proven to be just now, a map pick advantage is huge.
Yeah, it's
they really want that.
Yeah, we saw with Prem, we saw there was obviously discussions around it being previously that you wouldn't get necessarily having the big advantage from the higher seed, and then like Witness fought for it, and there's all the.
And I guess they got the map pick advantage in Grants anyway, so
I guess they did.
All
yeah,
worked
they
out
did.
in the end. The good ending.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, they were willing to fight over it, so it must be worth it.
Well, they made it count despite having this advantage in winners, I guess. So who cares? Just be better than your opponents, and maps don't matter, I guess. I wonder if we ever get to the point where there's just going to be people unironically debating that maps aren't real.
Maps aren't real ever.
Just win. Maybe one of these days we'll reach that point, and then we can play any stupid map we want, because nothing matters. That is the future.
Turbine Pro.
It's not like that hasn't been done, I guess. It's been a while, I suppose. I don't remember when it was, but like,
I don't know. There's the Throwback Cup coming up.
That's not real. That's not like a real competition, quote unquote. That's just a funny game.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think we reached that situation anytime soon, quite realistically. Maps are still fairly different, even within just 5 CP.
They are indeed real.
Debated that with my chat sometime recently about like, what are like your least favorite maps to like have to make a comeback on? It was fairly universally Snakewater. There was like a granary in there as well. But, granary revolts from mid still happen, I guess. So there's that. Like, when granary becomes a mess, it can stay a mess sometimes. But Snakewater is, it's Snakewater.
Is this when you were having, like, your sort of, like, internal debate about, like, why Gully Wash just isn't, like, the best map ever? And you were, like, trying to convince yourself, like, are there any reasons why Gully Wash isn't just the best map?
Yeah, it's the one map where scouts cry that it's not a good scout map, which automatically makes it the best map, I think. So, I mean, it just wins by default already before you get to any detailed discussion. So there's that going forward. I don't know, Reckoner is still like a hot topic for some people, I guess. Obviously, these teams don't mind it enough that they didn't ban it, but I also don't know what they banned necessarily. Hard to judge with that in mind, I suppose. Some people don't dislike this team map at all. Some people still hate it a lot.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Particularly between mid and second, with like the weird like flank routes. You sort of have to distribute yourself very, very carefully, and you can sort of get a few weird things going on. And obviously, with last, the way in from lobby being, there's not really a clear dividing line between lobby and last, right? So there's a last plays slightly differently. I guess obviously there's a lot of similarities between it and the rest of the 5 CP maps, but yeah, can play slightly differently to people's tastes or not to people's tastes.
At least we had the one new map recently, which is Bagel, which it's not that new in the grand scheme of things, but it was in active development for years, and this is the version that's stuck now, and at least one team is very happy about it being in a map pool, I would imagine. Let's see who's going to be happy about Reckoner being back again as well. Trust the process against Varmkorv Boogie to decide who's making grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah, and who's going to be in the darkness of the game against Alien Workshop. Arantry is hiding in the funny bush on the first mid, hiding underneath, gonna go for a little bit of a bomb afterwards, gets a nice little rocket in, but gets shut down very, very quickly, and both soldiers pay the price here. Jordy gonna actually chase down, they're gonna be looking to get Shio out here. He ducks and dives, dodges and weaves, and tries to retreat out back through Toxic, and is gonna manage to make it regardless. Impo taken down weak, but only 2 survivors. Lucky to get Shio out there, to be quite honest, but nice start coming in for Trust the Process, and that's the start they really need, right? Coming off the back of such a rough ending to that Bagel game. Getting that first mid, getting a little bit of advantage to work with is definitely good in their books.
Yeah, big change of pace already in that regard. They get to fight for more than 2 seconds at a time. Makes a big difference, but new advantage not there for either side. Will complicate matters right away. And Jordy busted the sniper early this time. I mean, it came out in the golden cap and by and large part helped him win that game at the end. So why wait 40 minutes to bust it out? Just try and get it going right away.
Yeah, it's a hard one to peek into there, right? You sort of got to, if you're peeking through Toxic, you've got to get yourself down onto that low gun. You're so splashable on the ramp. But managing to make it work fairly safely at the moment. Finding the little foot angle towards the top of cargo. But yeah, eating a couple of rockets, getting spammed out, not giving too much space. Yeah, with them being spotted out, of course. Varmkorv going to be aware of it, going to be playing passive, keeping Gio in a nice little safe spot, safe little corner where he can't get his head chopped off.
Okay, rotating sniper around, you have to do that eventually. Can't just sit on one door all the time, but actually get in as well. Tough through some of these doorways to make it work. Hitting, nothing actually, never mind. It will basically no damage to that whatsoever. They're not too fast about dealing with the sniper, much more than just throwing projectiles his way for the time being. Dodging those pipes barely even works, and be careful there, there's more coming in. Jordi doesn't even go back for heals either, he's just looking at this doorway. We're just staring down the tunnel.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game here for Yumpo, right? Stepping in occasionally, just you've got to, of course, put spam there. You can't let Jordi get too much space, but you also got to be careful you don't lose your own life there, because getting a pick on their demo, I think Jordi would be very, very happy with that. And, you know, stepping in further, getting bombed out from time to time, really good work done so far by Varmkorv, keeping the sniper under wraps.
Oh, he's rotated. Okay, never mind. Well, hard scoping for 2 minutes in the one doorway does not pay off so far. That is fairly unfortunate, I suppose, because in the end of the day, there's still a time limit running for each round. Gotta get stuff going sooner or later. With 3 minutes left to go, there's still plenty of time, of course, but at some point that will come to matter here. Jordi just can't get the shots going, because I don't know how much they're trying to get going around that, and I don't think we were on Sniper PV when that happened, so it wasn't confusing, nothing happened. But yeah, this is a pause. Let me check what's going on the server. I can see a disconnect from Sylphs.
Nice.
I can also see a reconnect from Sylphs, so it shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
But he did decide to leave for a second. It was recent client disconnect. I think that just you click leave on the thing. So, you know, minor rage quit, don't worry about it.
We're going to start some foreshadowing of what might have possibly happened in this next 1 minute and 30. But
surely not.
Yeah, surely not. No, it's yeah, Jordi's not managed to make it work just yet, but still obviously time left on the ticker. And as it stands, like they seem content just to sort of poke around, just give Jordi all the space they can, commit a lot of resources and a lot of time to just making sure Jordi's safe when peeking these angles and not risking too hard. Peeking for anything too extravagant where it might get bombed or might get spammed out. Yeah, Vindica's low risk, plenty of time left in the game, and just happy to not play the slow game. There's run pause now. Jordi's still peeking a little bit further underneath, but again, the spam comes in, and Varmkorv once again dealing with the sniper very, very well, and yeah, flank comes in and just denies it for a little bit.
Well, we talked about people liking this map, people not liking this map. I'm sure detractors of Ragnar will look at this damage currently and just decide that this is the reason why the map is bad. And they're not making a good argument otherwise so far on the server. The sniper is just not getting it done, and then, you know, nothing happens as a result, unfortunately. It's tough to see anything else happen other than that. They're still trying, though. More spam coming up from lower this time around, just rotating a little bit here, but the bullets are not connecting to heads. And as long as that doesn't happen, nothing will really change. Rotating back around again, Impo still not really taking much damage to any of that.
It's scary for you, because he's showing his head quite a lot, like you have to, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's such a hard shot for Jordi to hit, right? When there's like someone's shoulder peeking and you get like a couple of milliseconds to just hit that headshot. It's so hard. But you think if one of those does land, it's a huge impact, right? With
well, only if it's like these like hard scope ones. The last few were quick scope, and 150 is never going to kill the demo man in the middle of all this. There has to be the hard scopes that
yeah, for
gotta
sure.
hit.
Yeah, actually, they're posturing even further back now. With 1 minute 30 before the round reset.
There's no hurry for anything yet.
Yeah, just pushing back. This is where the pause came in. Okay, this is where Souls is reconnecting. So,
They
yeah.
also had to extend the server reservation. I don't know, I thought Bagel would get us back on schedule, to be honest. Oh, headshot? Like I said though, if it's the quick scopes that hit, that just doesn't matter, unfortunately. Like, it's gonna be nice for your DPM that just tanks otherwise right now, but A little more than that is happening.
Yeah, well, there's 60 seconds before the round reset. See if they decide to up the risk or if they're just happy to just play this low-risk style and take on the mid-fight, because I guess there is obviously the fact of you are only their second. It is pretty high risk if it goes wrong. Big peek comes in, but taken down.
No one can peek with him as well. Impo just completely denied the doorway right behind him. Left everyone else to shoot the sniper. He just made sure there's not going to be a whole team walking in with that.
And with that one pick advantage, you've seen Varmkorv starting to move towards upper cargo, but again, how much do they want to risk with 25 seconds left before we go to this round reset? They're Jordy's back up on the soldier, just wants to play it by the book for this last 20 seconds, but I think by the looks of things we might be going to that round reset.
Taking an exchange now even is too late, I feel like, because you need cap time and you're going to be Ubered for so long that you just can't get on
They're in!
cap
No,
time.
Never mind, they're in.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be, but again, there's going to be so little cap time doing any of this, which means they don't have overtime to play with anymore. They have to go back to point now. They don't have much of a choice. This is just a matter of fact they have to be on cap. Makes this really tough. There's the bombs coming through, and
Wait,
maybe there's a chance. Late bombs actually, you'd think the blue team has the upper hand here, just nuking the point, but Swift and Jordy with really good damage to make it happen. Backup coming
10
through.
seconds
All of this, they have
spawners.
to block. Is that it? After Jordy cleaning up, Omga in the back, just not back in time, and that worked.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Yeah, the respawns just weren't quite quick enough, right? Like, just walking in straight through Toxic, just using under the point, taking that exchange. Like, it's a dice roll you can take, right? And I thought with Dai going down, it was looking pretty risky, but I think, Varmkorv perhaps overcommitted trying to hold into seconds, gave up so many players.
And suddenly the BM is coming out as well. Suddenly they're just feeling themselves again. They got the one round, who cares what happened on Bagel? As long as you win this one, you still win the match. That's all that matters. Maybe the mid-fight can bring things back a little bit. But it has to be a good one. You don't want to be stuck in the stamina for the next 5 minutes of your life again.
Yeah, nice bit of spam coming across here as soldiers getting traded from either side as we're into a temporary 4v4. Aelectic and very, very weak here. Having to back up, but there's some low HPs on either side as well temporarily, but yeah, they're getting healed up, and it's a retreat coming in from just the process. They're going to be getting spawners in fairly soon, so not too much potential here for a quick run out from either team, and we might be heading for a similar situation before, unless the burst through Toxic can come very, very quick. But yeah, spawners just there in time, a couple of seconds in it. We saw there Varmkorv thought about charging it in through Toxic, but not there quite fast enough. Yeah, now we stalemate out. Well, I guess we'll see now what Varmkorv are made of, right? In these stalemates. We saw, I guess it's the pretty unexpected end to that previous one of just sending the exchange in, but see if there's anything more by the book that Varmkorv are able to make with this.
Surely they're going to be showcasing great knowledge of how to break this stalemate in comparison to the opponents and just embarrass the fact they had to wait 5 minutes to make a play. As you will see here by the Ox Bomb coming forward, getting sniped out here immediately. Someone's getting embarrassed.
Yeah, I think it's those blue soldiers, if anyone, right? Nice little air shot coming in, and the chip damage finishing things off. And actually now with 2 soldiers down, they're at risk themselves. Now we actually forced out, taken weak before the Uber comes out is potentially quite nice. But Impo isolated from the rest of the Uber charge, but after decides not to go for it, decides to go back to the point, regroup with the team and not overextend. But now the respawns are in, and there's more pressure coming forward. Ox going to be taken out though, and I'm sure Omga here potentially in a little bit of trouble, but now going to start this re-engage. And now actually a pick advantage here for Varmkorv. They've got Silver to deal with in the back line here. Could be a little bit of a threat as he jumps in, gets a couple of good rockets into the combo, misses the big one onto the med. Shield down weak, but yeah, lands on the ground. Silver takes him down.
Oh no, he saw the bomb come in, misses a pipe, and then the guy disappears under the point, and he just lost track of him and let him kill the medic without fighting back. Oh no. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I thought Shield did a pretty good job there holding on just with 7 HP. But gets taken out on the ground as Silver's allowed to live for slightly too long.
Yeah, well, back to this mid-seconded ghost potentially. However, there's a big advantage on one side, and Boogie has to be keenly aware of that fact. Holding back, building their own Uber, but they're gonna not have in time to fight back and trust the process, bluffing, pushing in really early. Don't even have anywhere close to Uber just yet, and that might fall apart a little bit in some ways. But actually, while the backup draws them back, it doesn't really do much damage, and not enough threat on the medic gets done in the meantime to actually force the Uber, let alone get the kill. So it might all be fine, actually.
Yeah, I guess sort of the main outcome of that backcover division is lose 2 players going in for that flank, and that means now Gio's still not quite got the Uber charge up, and we do have the side of Trust the Process walking in, going to cap out second also. There's Arentria here on the sniper to deal with, who's actually taken down in forward spawn. Not exactly ideal, and second getting capped up also. But Ubercharge is stabilising here as players have stabilised too. But yeah, we saw this was it's a bit of a risk going for that back cap, right? And we see with the player advantage and that slight Uber had so much space being taken in as big damage comes in onto the combo. Alex going in deep with the demo, going for the hero sack, but not quite able to make that one work.
It's not quite all coming together. They still have to get a last though, and even with the demo kill, it might not be the easiest task. Doesn't stop them from trying, however. Get the players already in deep. Uber exchange will have to happen, but not without a player advantage. Staying alive. Get Jordi snapped off the beam, however, if he doesn't come back for info. It's half a backup. They're just forcing everyone dragged back to last, taking the attention away from the second point, but with no one surviving, I don't know if this was really going to be worth it much at all. They were very quick to just follow them.
Yeah, really nice awareness there from Varmkorv, getting back in time. It was a little bit rough for a moment, but yeah, going in, chasing down that Medin scout, and Dowie taken out as well on that that rush through to last. I thought for a moment it could have worked. They were quick, but not quite quick enough. Yeah, Varmkorv very aware of it, run it back with their own Uber and clean up those last couple of kills, and now they've got their advantage of their own. They're on their own second, but they've got a decent sized Uber ad here if they want to start walking it. With Dowie going down late into that previous push.
There we go, entrance mate. He was taking so much damage, the birds almost just dies on entry. Can fall back safely, luckily, but will not be too punished for it in the end. There's still a sniper lurking, however, waiting in the fourth one, I believe, just having the sideline out in the open, hoping for the Matt to be there, and the Matt's right there, but he's already invincible. The force coming out is a good thing ultimately, but that doesn't mean everyone has a flash, and suddenly a good thing becomes a whole lot better. Force on top of kills just gives them so much momentum.
Yeah, for sure, and there's even more falling info taken down, and Ox is going to try to salvage here onto Dowie, but gets knocked back from the oncoming spam. Not going to get onto it, and it's a 6-man wipe here. Just a couple of spawners coming back in here for Varmkorv Boogie, and it's going to be a pretty serious pretty serious space disadvantage also, with mid coming through. Second surely coming through soon also. They've got this sniper to deal with in forward spawn, which could slow the progress of this push a little bit, but as it stands, second point being capped up, and there's still advantage here for Dowie, and this push into last could well happen.
Yeah, it's been a close game, but the large parts of map control sooner or later do still fall back. They trust the process every time, even with that like sketchy backup attempt. Recovered very quickly, get themselves back now to a last position, and it's not the same at all actually. This is a big advantage on the Ubers. They can make a move right away, have to worry about sniper and the gun lurking in the back here as well. Force everyone else into spawn. Unfortunately no kills maybe, but maybe some good cap time can force them out of position nice and early. Gun doesn't allow them to go deep themselves, however.
Yeah, they're getting a fair bit of pressure here. A lot of cap time coming through, but they've got to maybe get some more than this. Is down to the 4-on-4. Yumpo doing a decent job so far of controlling this point, and the Uber charge comes up from Shio here. Could be clutch towards the end of this fight here. Just about getting it in time, but there's still a scout 1v1 to be had. Now we're in a bit of trouble here in lobby. Going to be getting chased out by Omga, who gets the scout of Earl. Going to be onto Dowie as well. Going to be getting the Boston Basher out. Gets the kill. That's 2 kills now onto Dowie with the bleed melee in this series already. And yeah, nice pop coming through. Yeah, it was just in time. You've got to think if Shio doesn't get that Uber charge up within the next couple of seconds, they would have been in big danger. But Varmkorv's lived to fight another day, preserve this 1-round deficit, and now with the big advantage of their own as they start walking into mid.
Big damage getting dead there, but everyone's trying to deny them entry. Just goes down for it in the end. No matter how much damage they deal, can't get any frags of their own. Will not work out for Trust the Process. Maybe this can finally be Varmkorv Boogie taking some charge of the situation. Get this steamrolling a little bit. Gonna be tough. Deeper's coming up pretty shortly on the other side as well. And they have time to build something maybe. They're not trying to let them. We're trying to beat everything out here. Just barely no kills with the Super just yet. Have to rotate through to the other side to see if they can find anything. They can't get cap time either. Only now the second cap actually finishes. Does not bode well in theory. In practice, the Uber's already there, and that's just gonna end it before anything else comes to matter.
Yeah, a couple of seconds difference there, getting that second cap in. Not gonna go well in the end because they have to. Yeah, they can't cap point as soon as the until that second cap comes through, and with that he's so close to Uber's charge as well. Like, you're essentially a man down regardless because you've got someone capping second, and as soon as that red Uber charge comes up, they're in dire straits. But yeah, pushing back in now, trying to get this re-aggression on, and with Elix down, they're gonna manage to get the second cap coming through and potentially set themselves up for an equal Uber's attempt at last, which is, with all things considered, not the end of the world whatsoever.
Maybe not. It's not an immediate second chance just now, but it's still gonna be a pretty good spot to be in either way. I mean, we're only halfway through the game and only one down. I mean, opponent stuck on last helps eventually find these chances. They're gonna be a bit of a grind to actually break out of this one. Maybe we'll see the classic alley bomb be pulled out. Not the first time we would have seen it the past few weeks, I suppose, but I don't think it worked the last time I've seen it tried, so hopefully they have some better ideas on that.
Yeah, well, there's snipers apiece so far. Yeah, Silver's just checking the off classes, but yeah, we've got snipers on either side. We've seen obviously before we had a long spell of no good sniper impact, but Hugie so far having more impact than our previous snipers have in the that previous stalemate. Getting one pick, it's only into a soldier, not the end of the world for the defenders, but going to give some more space, one less explosive class spamming in, and never mind, gets taken down. Half wins the sniper 1v1. Hits the nice little headshot as just players trading back and forth here, trying to sack in. I guess the thing if one player goes down, so the other team aggressors, and then they lose one, and we just sort of have a little bit of a push and a pull here around this last, but to see how Varmkorv decides to work this in, because they've got to go for something a bit more aggressive at some point.
Or maybe aggressive snipe it will be. Both teams busting out the sniper rifle eventually in this stalemate. Spy checking for actually as well. I have to just quickly to spy just to see that there's in fact not a spy of their own on the other side as well. But with the bullets already flying, I guess the cat's out of the back. But nothing connecting just yet. 3 minutes left. Sounds like so much time sometimes, but it runs away from you a lot faster than you'd like in these tournaments.
Yeah, for sure, and of course it's a good opportunity to get around, but also never mind.
What?
The drop comes in.
Aaron Trier just makes it happen. Everyone's has the eyes on the sniper, and they're just not even thinking about a bomb, and there it is.
Yeah, that's a big drop coming in, and got the push as soon as these spawners come back through. Huge, even running back to spawn as well, using the opportunity to get back onto scout. And yeah, they're going to be getting ready to charge this one. This is the best chance by far at a round that Varmkorv boogie have had in this third map, and with a round down, they've really got to convert this. You've got to think.
There we go, pushing from left. Gonna get them with scout flash in here. Gun takes quite a while to go down. Anyone else can rotate. No casualties on this charge just yet. It's Captain that has to do the heavy lifting. Heavy from the close side. Spawn, however, doesn't let them sit there on the half of the map they thought they could just stand on. Not at all. Earl is hunting them down without even going anyone heavy. Just stays in the back, shoots everything down. One little air blast, I believe, gets one more kill, and it just wraps it all up beautifully for Trust the Process.
Yeah, really nice disad hold coming in there, and guess the threat of Varmkorv, they backed out so deep. When they got their advantage, they hadn't prepped necessarily as well as they could. They maybe hadn't got the info they required when they were going in, and yeah, got caught blindsided there, and the second point being capped up, and also mid potentially on the horizon disadvantage. It's turned completely here in favour of Trust the Process. Oh, it's going to try and make something work here on the flank, but going to be getting chased down as we go back to this 5-on-5. One soldier down a piece, but never mind, there's a second drop coming in. Aaron Trier, 2 drops in 2 minutes. Comes in, takes down Dowie again. And now this is another gift going the side of Varmkorv boogie. They're going to have to stabilise, they potentially endanger themselves, but they're going to be looking to run this across again. And they're given the gift horses come once more. They're going to make it work this time.
Aaron Trier just decided, actually, maybe we want to win this game. Unfortunately held back a bit by the rest of the team not being able to push last, but gives them more chances anyway to make it happen, and one of these has got to work.
Yeah, they spotted out the sniper early. There's a gun still getting built over on that right-hand side, but Ubercharge used in early. See if they get anything better this time. There's a lot of flashing. Ubercharge not going to last too long. Gun taken down eventually, but it's a bit of a laboured push. Demoman taken down. That is a big pick, but there's still cap time to get, and there's still 5 players alive to deny it. The Sylvs jumping around, trying to get something worked, and that's the second ad push in as many minutes that they've managed to not make work. Varmkorv going to back out, just going to try and keep Shio alive, and this is rough couple of minutes here from Varmkorv as they've really potentially squandered some of the best chances they might get in this map.
They can't keep beefing these. It's just so many chances over and over that they're getting completely squandered. And Trust the Process is getting to catch a huge break of this one. Finally getting back into mid and trying to just get away with everything they can here. Not gonna get away with holding Lever for long, unfortunately. Ox makes them have to pop sooner or later. Not quite the drop we've seen early on mid, but the next best thing, I suppose, to get them back in the picture, because the second they have the decision to push on, and they actually decide that's already before the spawn comes in. They just go in while people are standing on point. Not a bad idea, but still off very little concrete information where anyone is, and unfortunately there wasn't enough people on point to just completely nuke them down. Don't want to have you combo on the point standing on the low ground when there's a chance for a repush happening, so luckily all of the rest of Trust the Process far and away already on the way out.
Yeah, they are going to get a point off that though. Our Varmkorv going to cap that second point up with both of the soldiers down for the red side, and actually big aggression coming in very fast here. Lots of aggression down this right hand channel. Huge getting good kills here, but just a couple more players down. Also Heavy down is potentially a nice pick, but Dowie's weak as well. Uber used out. It's so much earlier than Shio. Shio is nowhere near having yet. So he's going to have to jump back. Oaks can't get to him in time. Shio going to run for left. Going to try and go for the cap with the Uber saw out. Not going to make it work. It was worth a try. We respect the effort, but it's not going to matter. And the counter push comes out. And yeah, maybe they didn't realize how bad the disad was there, but Shio was so far away from Uber when that pop came through, and it was rough times for that push again.
This is such a worse position now. The last few times they got something on mid and it was fine. Right now, even if they were to do that, they are so far away from having any beam ready of their own. Medic only just spawns now. Decent damage being dealt as well. Actually just not giving up, despite the first being there for the longest time. Close call. Lands right on top of the medic, just taken out ahead of time. But no one has any good help, even with numbers add. And in the meantime, there's just a backup going on the entire time.
Oh, if he wins this fight, it could be huge, but no, it drags the entire team back, to be fair to him.
I mean, were they not already falling back? They were so weak, they couldn't keep fighting at this point. It's just kind of going down too for no reason, I feel like.
Yeah, well, Aaron Tree was so unfortunate there. Didn't quite land that second rocket. Was going to have to work another miracle.
Oh, they're never going to see the second back cap. Kami Huji makes a quick work of Jordy. Gets that kill right away. Drags, again, 2 people back with him. But this time around, they're not numbers they set afterwards. So they can just keep going, actually.
Yeah, bigger overcharge.
No,
she was weak. She goes for the sword. Doesn't quite manage it. Gets the health pack though, but goes taken down. Just 10% away from the Uber charge. Unfortunately, soaring an Ubered player does not give you the 25% that you require. So, not going to work out. And yeah, another scare though. You've got to say, just the process. Another scary moment. And minor margins on those Uber charges coming out in their favour. And this time, surely this time they're going to cap mid.
Are they re-pushing of like 3 down? Spawns aren't here yet. They're just full confidence in anyway. Big focus there on the demo man. Get input down pretty quickly. At least they're trading it out. But is that going to be good enough? They just don't have players. And entry on the medic once again hits the final rocket. There we go. Finally what they wanted. All of the rest of this fight is just a distraction. Speaking of distraction, Earl's trying to go for the backup as well. Gets met up with a scout, soldier, sorry, that's like 1 HP. That's easy kills right there. App on the other side gets 1 more on top of that, and it's might fall apart a little bit for Varmkorv Boogie just now. I want to hold back on the second point. That's really good damage by Impo. Actually barely defends the position there. Get Alex, get Jordy with the cleanup of the scout. And all across the process running into the second point, thinking they can just get the med kill out, just met with cruel reality that that's not happening.
Hugely did great there. Got 3 big kills all on players tunneling onto that med. Hits all the damage, gets all the kills, and really secures this advantage. Now mid coming up. Uber charge ready now for Shio. As now he's still another 40% away from that, another 20 seconds. When this push is coming through, they're going to use it early, they're going to go in fast. Fast and Furious is the name of the game across the second point into the lobby, but a bit of a stumble here as they're getting in as bombs coming, takes down Yumpo just as he gets unflashed. Not ideal at all, but both soldiers going down for that down man pick, but Dowie now has Uber Charge on the other side ready to use at will. But second point flipped, and without lobby control, it could be fairly dangerous here if just the process decide to go for anything.
Yeah, just looking for force. Ox goes in, beats the first rocket, second one looks good. The last one barely misses the airshot, but it's still enough. Scout staring them down as the final rocket hits. They're not gonna hold much longer than that one. Not gonna dare get chipped down by a Scout there to fall damage. It looks like Pop responsibly early. Still not a good side, I suppose. He still lost the Uber Charge, and the sticky traps just making it hard to get into the second point as well. They really badly want to, but it's not gonna happen. No one's getting to this blue medic anytime soon. And Uber is staying where it is, coming up any moment. Fourth time's the charm? Something's gotta be it, right?
Yeah, they had so many good chances here coming into this last point with Uber Charge advantage. They're going to have another go now with NG and Snipes to deal with. No heavy yet this time as Gun is taken down early. And Cap 10 coming through also. This is potentially the best attempt they've had so far. And the Cap comes through. They're not able to get it in time. And they equalise it out. Just 4 minutes left on the clock. As we equalise at 1-1, and Varmkorv at the fourth time of asking, make it work eventually as we even up.
But all that effort to tie it up makes the entire map timer just have disappeared in the meantime, and all they have left now to win without the headache of another golden cap is 3.5 minutes. Otherwise we will go once again into overtime, and that didn't work out last time for Varmkorv Boogie.
Yeah, for sure, and it's a big double bomb coming in. Very huge damage. Oaks gets 3. As the bomb comes across, it's an absolute nuke behind the red crate. And they're going to lose everyone. It's a full wipe on the mid, and Varmkorv really turning on the afterburners here. Charging across. They've been behind the whole game. And they come back after squandering so many attempts. This could be the only one they need. They have such a good double bomb on mid. Both their soldiers pay their lives as sacrifice for it, but everyone goes down, and they've got this attempt at a push coming in. This could do it.
Okay, that crits are once again in play, but it's once again also only gonna matter if they survive the initial Uber charge well enough to have people to take the beam in the end. We'll see when we get there, I suppose, but at this rate you have to worry. They've learned from the mistake. They finally made last push happen. Once again, going from the right side. Don't get the sniper there, unfortunately. Gun still goes down for the quick bombs across. Look for the double mad. Pipes are hitting. What's the cleanup finally comes through. Everyone's into body block. The rockets get reflected. No damage is really coming through. And they might have just saved themselves from the worst.
Yeah, usually getting taken out in front of the spawn door as well. There's actually counter pressure here. Shio's going to be in trouble, taken down late as well. And there is still 2 minutes of play left. The coast to coast is potentially something. There's going to be spawners coming in the middle, of course. It's not trivial whatsoever, but if there's still time for a round to go in either direction, this is game on after that final last hold full disarm. They just make it work every time, and Jordy coming in aggro, really trying to get onto these players here, backing out into Toxic. We've got Omgar up on Sniper as well. They'll try and catch someone in forward spawn. Probably see Silvers up in upper cargo, but it's dangerous times. But Dowie's still with this full crits Krieg. I guess if this was a stock Uber charge, it might be working a bit better, but the crits runs in. Crit Sticky's getting fired out, not going to get anything here. And that is not what they were looking for whatsoever. You got to say that they had. If that was a stock Uber charge, there's a real chance this could have gone to last.
At least it got them to the last point. That's still good news in some ways, but this Uber charge will be there in time, and this thing just doing the bare minimum really is all they need to see at this stage of the game. Engineer hastily setting something up, soldiers bombing in while they have a chance, while the gun is being built. Good damage, keeping them in check, however. Sivs AF going down. Jordy at least escapes alive. That's technically some good news, but they're not going to make anything happen until the rest of the spawners are there, and they're making sure Jordy still meets them in the spawn queue. Goes down really late. They're hunting them down. Offense dangerously late coming in as the last defense here, I suppose. Hunting them down, get to second. I feel like a lot of teams wouldn't even bother pushing into second that late into the game anymore, but they're taking a chance while everyone's running away anyway, and they're getting rewarded for it so much. Sivs rush down as well, running people onto mid. Uber just kind of walking past each other.
Oh, this could be dangerous if the back cap comes through. There's a ×6 on the back cap temporarily. The players are really running last. This is so dangerous. The player still going through. Earl running through. It's a race. Earl versus Hughie onto the last point. Gets the point first. Hughie's not going to get onto it in time, and the cap comes through in the final 20 seconds of the game. We said it was maybe not advisable to push out to second. They go one further. They try and go on to mid, and the back cap comes through. Earl sprints his way through that lobby, gets onto the point, doesn't even need to win the 1v1 because Hughie doesn't get onto the point in time, and they win it out in the final dying seconds. Great work by Trust the Process. But again, Varmkorv, not exactly
Okay,
the way to see.
and I can understand going to second. I don't know why they went to mid. I really don't. They knew it. They had to have known it was Crit Weaver, right? Why would you not push in a way where you get to your opponents, right? That's all you have to do. What are they going to do? Shoot the invincible people? I don't think so.
Especially on Reckoner, right? Because Reckoner's, I argue, one of the easiest maps in terms of doing what they did exactly, where you just sort of completely avoid the other team's push coming in. Where they say, oh, they're going to come out, we'll just run it through Toxic, or vice versa, we'll run through Under, and you can completely miss each other and start these really powerful backcaps on second. And yeah, they stack everyone up and start running Earl through to last, and yeah, they win it out in potentially against the run of play, given how a lot of that game went, particularly for about the 20-minute mark onwards. But credit to Trust the Process for making it work. The quick thinking at the end and pulling that one out of absolutely nothing.
Mad stuff. Some days you just choose to lose the game. It's really just the story of the day. Sometimes you are just fine and then decide to not want it, actually. And that's just all that matters. The mistake that happens at the very end is the worst one you can make. And that's going to be the map right there. Trust the Process going to Grand Finals winner's side, have the mapping advantage in their hands already. Which means losers finals tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That probably will be streamed, question mark. If I can find a producer that has time tomorrow at 5. Keep your hopes up, chat. I'm sure I can find someone. It will be a Varmkorv Boogie against Alien Workshop, a game that also was a tie. I guess 4-2 technically, but that's a tie. We all know that. So once again, close encounter last time will have to actually be a win this time around for one of these teams confidently. Only one could take it here. Alien Workshop would be on the losers run to make it to Grand Finals, of course. Varmkorv Boogie, after this just now, they want a redemption run. And I think next time they're not going to get to play Bagel for the easy win.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to feel bad, right, for Varmkorv, right? They were so dominant on Bagel, but they just lose to a golden cap and then a cap in the last 20 seconds on the third map. So yeah, maybe there is obviously stuff to build confidence with, but yeah, they need to work on closing out these maps. And yeah, probably Bagel gets banned out first. I'd guess in that lower bracket final match, which will be potentially be streamed tomorrow. Yeah. If you can sentence someone to production.
Either way, that game's going to be on 17 CST and 21 CEST. I guess we're not going to drag this out much longer. We're just going to leave you with the good old knowledge of push equals big mistake. Never do it, chat. And we'll catch you next time.
See you later.